Highs to start the week on Monday as we head into the biggest part of the earnings season yet over the next couple of days here. A ton to get to this morning on the earnings front. This is a market, though, that just continues to grind to the upside again, 5 straight for the NASDAQ in all-time high territory. I was reading this morning, this is the longest stretch above the 20-day moving average for the index itself since 1997. I thought that was kind of surprising. Market that hasn't seen a 1% day. We were talking about this going back last week. A market that hasn't seen a 1% day in a month now. So volatility definitely grinding to a halt ahead of the Fed, ahead of huge earnings over the next couple of days, ahead of non-farm payrolls coming up on Friday as well. We get jobs data this morning also coming up. That's what just came out there. Goods trades balance for June. On the negative side of things, that's 3 months in a row to the downside. Wholesale inventories 0.2% to the upside. Coming up at 9 o'clock this morning, some housing data. That's the one I was mentioning. Jolts to start the week off here at 10 o'clock. We'll also get the Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Index coming up at 10 o'clock again for July. Major numbers, though, again, later in the week with GDP, PCE, and also non-farm payrolls on Friday. And we get to hear from Mr. Powell himself tomorrow.
Can't wait for that. I wonder how it's going to look there with the new building. There's a whole lot to talk about today, Brendo. Novo Nordisk is absolutely getting crushed here in the pre-market to the tune of 20% on a weaker than expected report. That's we'll talk about that on the rundown. SoFi, kind of the opposite look. 10% in the green here, Brendo, with Anthony Noto really pounding the desk about the consumer. UNH down, PayPal also down. These are all earnings reports, likewise with UPS. Google coming out with, or Waymo that is, with another expansion into Dallas. Should be a good look. More earnings day, Brendo. RCL down 6%, but that was up markedly this year, so a little profit taking here on the back of a decent report. And Spotify also down 7.25%.
Yeah, maybe a few cracks under the hoods as far as earnings goes. I was just going to mention that. Yeah, there's Spotify right now back to basically session lows here. Hovering around $650, went out yesterday at $700. And it's the forecast that was a bit of an issue for Spotify. UPS, the other one, as you mentioned, withdrawing their forecast altogether, pointing to uncertainty, economic and global economic uncertainty going forward. So a couple of misses, to say the least, to start things off, guys. Huge reports to come. Again, a ton of data to come. We'll hear from Powell. We'll get non-farm payrolls coming up at the end of the week. Going to be a wild couple of days here.
It's real busy today, no questions asked. I don't know about this.
So many names.
Farthest away from the 200-period moving average since 1997. It's a little ominous because we all remember what happened in 1998. Well, at least I hope we do, outside of graduating high school. But no, seriously, there's a ton to get to. Right? We didn't even mention the stockpile reaching, I guess, like 1 million chips for NVIDIA. So they continue to rally, almost hitting $180 here in the pre-market for a fresh high. Yeah, Uber, that's unfortunate. There's a couple of negative stories there for Uber. But it really, in terms of movement, it's Novo that it's taking the cake. Like it's down 20% or 19%, but this was actually, it was down underneath $50 briefly. As, the growth is not where they want it to be, but I am pleasantly surprised by SoFi. SoFi up double digits. The problem with SoFi, 9%, not 10%. The problem with SoFi hasn't always been going up after earnings. It's been holding the gains. So I want to see what happens there. It was a great call for them and great numbers. Ooh, Bryn's back. And running away.
Randy's just like, hi. Good to see, good to see.
They want coffee, you know that. The floors look great.
Oh, gotta use the mic.
Oh, right. The floors look great. Apparently they're not the right color, though.
It's not.
What color would you paint them?
I thought they were gonna match the walls.
Yeah.
I think it would be kind of cool if they matched the walls.
Jet black.
Are you here to help the guys paint or?
No, that's not my job.
What, you're just here for support or?
Oh yeah.
Supervising.
Actually, yeah.
Someone has to supervise.
Yeah.
All right, give me one stock that you were thinking about. If your father were to give you $1,000 and you were to put it somewhere other than Starbucks gift cards, where would you? What stock would you be thinking about?
I don't know.
What's something? What is something that's trendy right now? Like what are all your friends into? Are they into some sort of a clothing line? Are
Aritzia, probably.
Aritzia, yeah, okay. All right, so go with some Canadian content with Aritzia.
Yeah.
But those puffer jackets, it's such a nice summertime flow right now. We're not buying puffer jackets, are we?
You're
Not
thinking
yet.
ahead, though. Thinking
Yeah.
ahead.
Thinking for the winter.
Very smart, very smart.
Yeah, I don't need a down jacket for that.
You know, it's very nice outside. Okay, thank you. I would love a coffee. Thank
take
you,
one, thanks.
Randy. Right there. Okay, so there it is. Aritzia.
Why not?
Sometimes it's about. Ooh, it's always a good. I notice, at least with my kids, it's like sometimes they'll pick out these little trends, and then it's like next thing you know, these stocks are starting to go like Elf Cosmetics and like some of these other things that are really starting to pick up, like investing in Starbucks sort of 10 years ago and things like that. So, yeah, all right.
Aritzia's not doing too bad.
No,
I mean, everything is.
ATZ, is that what it
like
is?
almost every chart is going to look fantastic. It's ATZ, this is right. It made me double check. No, it's not quite at 52-week highs, so why not? It's got a little bit of room to go. But obviously, we said it's going to be really, really busy. And then aftermarket, we get a few more earnings names. Mara is going to be an interesting one as well. So we've got to be buckled up, everybody. Like
I see Andre setting up for Mitch.
Oh, we do have Mitch. Okay, excellent.
So he wasn't here.
We didn't have Mitch last week when you were gone.
Okay,
Good to have him back. Yeah.
He probably knew I wasn't here, so you know it was.
Well, I think we were supposed to have Steve last week.
Oh, Steve. Okay.
Yeah. I think we're supposed to switch it up
What's
a
the
little.
guy's name from Minecraft? Steve.
Steve.
Oh, what's up, Steve? Yeah, I mean, the futures right now continue. We talked about sort of the bump up that they've been having. The NASDAQ, the TQQs just continue to rock higher. Yesterday, we had that 89.50. We actually played it to the short side there in the afternoon. We wind up breaking higher into the close and come almost back up to today's high. Well, we're going to play long today on the TQQs again with NASDAQ up, ES up. Banking names, we talked about SoFi still going, JP Morgan looking to break $300 again right now. Coinbase, I mean, right here you're seeing Bitcoin 119 right there on the bottom. You see just flirting with it right now. So we'll see if Coinbase can sort of recover from yesterday. Novo Nordisk downside. Eli Lilly as well on some of that news down to 780. So that's been getting hit right there. UNH, maybe has UNH bottomed off of this last earnings report? Could possibly be. Got to dig into that to figure out if you still like this company or not. And if you do like it, why? But UNH pulling back as well here today. So I think it's going to be a SoFi kind of day. There's going to be a lot of traders on this. Obviously, this is what's been on a lot of message boards and whatnot. Over 15 million shares there, breaking the high. So that's always real nice. Getting above that level. Let's see if we can hold it. I think it was 7 or 8% expected move. So we're right there right now. It looks like we're trying to extend through there. VWAP always key, 2250. All right, 840. Like we said, we have Mitch here coming through, so that should be a lot of fun. And yeah, lots of names to trade. Whether or not it doesn't all have to be big tech names today. There's so many different sectors, so many different spots. PayPal came out with a report as well. That's to the downside. Our watch list is loaded with ideas.
UNH,
yeah,
that's another one. And Avi, you were just mentioning that. Like there's a little bit of something for everybody, and we haven't even gotten into the small caps that are moving. And you throw those out there, and it gets.
You could get more deal announcements. I mean, we didn't even get really any reaction at all from the deals in the last couple. Ooh la la!
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
All right. Go for those nails. You get some long nails over there. You're gonna scrape you up. All right. Cheers. Bryn, right? Thank you, Bryn. For that one. All right. Let's go back over to the desk. The boys are ready.
All right, UNH guys just popping up in front of me here, back to the downside right now on the back of their earnings report. Again, a miss, but trying to hold 270 here for UNH. There's also a little one that keeps popping up as well. This SOAR, SOAR is soaring. 1.4 million float on this, 22.5% short. So tread lightly maybe for SOAR. Let's bring in Mitch Hoke over at Trade the Pool and get an update from him. We missed you, man. What's like? What? You don't call, you don't write, you don't email.
Hey, man. when you make good money, you go on a vacation. And so I was out on a nice Airbnb out there in the Gulf of America.
Nice. I like it.
So, hey, it was a good time, got some good beach time. And sometimes I believe in the trader's break, right? You got to take a trader's break sometimes, just take some eyes off the screen. It's been a pretty hectic, 2 months of trading. Been doing really well. Said, you know what, take some of those profits and let's go to the beach.
Yeah, man, I hear that. The market, meanwhile, continues here. We continue to just float higher. Nothing terribly exciting as far as volatility to talk about. I mean, I think a lot of people were expecting more of a reaction to more clarity on the trade deal side of things coming out of Europe. I mean, the talks continuing with China today. We'll see if anything comes from that. Just high level as far as the market is concerned. This is the biggest week, over the next couple of days at least to come as far as the economic data and earnings reports that we're going to get that I can remember in a long time. Just give me your thoughts here on the market first off.
Yeah, some people call it glue your ASS to the chair week because that's what it's going to be like. With all these companies reporting, of course, your eyes go left, right. But I think the important part is sticking with the trends right now and sticking with the themes. That's what I'm always on, guys. Why? Because that keeps me with the flavor of the week. Sometimes it's going to be, let's say, small nuclear reactors. Sometimes it's going to be data storage. Sometimes it's going to be chip makers, right? But if you can find the flavor of the week, well, you can definitely go ahead and make some good money. I know that we've been talking about it, and I've been big on looking at conversations about U.S. chip exports that keep being talked about in the China conversation. Now, what are you hearing more of? More revisiting tech export rules. And just recently, Trump administration reversed the Biden era curves and green-lighted NVIDIA's H20 and AMD's MI308 AI chip. And these are the types of things that I think are very important. What were people paying attention to? Oh, they were battling about rare earths materials. Yeah, that was something, but there was a slight smidgen in that report about export controls. And then what you saw? AMD start taking off. You started seeing NVIDIA take off. Why is this doing this? The market likes to price in action. I think the market's already pricing in a China deal. So by the time we actually get the news, it might be more of a sell the news. And right now, it's still the buy the rumor, right? So that's why I'd pay attention to also chip-making material stocks like KLAC and AMAT. I think those are two really great stocks here. AMAT has a really nice flag after a throwback look, long-term trend line. These are the types of stocks that you want to be looking at because if Trump's going to continue playing nice with China, let their AI grow and not restrict some of these chips, well, that's going to give these ability of these companies to continue pressing the AI gas pedal.
Speaking of individual names, let's go right to Alibaba here. I mean, these have kind of been floating around back and forth on a higher time frame here over the past couple of weeks, maybe in anticipation of exactly what you were just talking about there. Is there an individual name that's standing out for you at this point, or maybe an area of their market to look at?
Yeah, I mean, you could look at favorites, right, like PDD and Baba. Of course, there was a lot of play against PDD with that first kind of like battle against e-commerce and kind of bringing cheap goods from China. But I think this is also a part of the deal conversation, right? I think at the end of the day, China's bringing to the deal certain things that they can bring to the table, and U.S. is also playing nice with certain chip rules, right? So I think that the idea here is that both win and keep moving forward. If both can win and keep moving forward, guess what the stocks will do? Keep winning and moving up. So I think this is a really good area to look at China before you get the deal, because once you get the deal, they're going to start breaking these long-term trend lines and really start shooting up higher. And we know how the China trade is. It's more of a gap type of trade, so you got to be very careful. It's more like a swing entry. Use especially kind of weekdays. That's what I look at, week hourly trends into those strong days to get in on it. Then the next day, look for that gap up to really give you that conviction that you timed the trade right.
So many question marks around that market in general. I mean, people have been very, very hesitant to, give it any confidence whatsoever. The EV makers especially have suffered because of that outside of this one. Xpeng you had on your list as well here.
Yeah, exactly. Because the truth is you got to look at what could have the biggest upside, right? And what has had a big upside as of late? Well, you've been seeing the kind of the sales of Tesla go down. Right? Well, what happens when those sales of Tesla goes down? Well, a lot of in China, right? Those China EVs have really taken off. And what did they do? They started making a lot of deals with the European side, right? So then now you're starting to see that China's net EV sales jumped 43% in the first half of 2025. And the Europe registration shows Chinese brands nearly doubling their share to 5.1%. This came from Reuters, but these types of information, they're giving you snippets of how these companies are starting to grow in Europe, and they're starting to take market share from Tesla. So with that being said, if they could get a trade deal here that can help their tariffs, right? They can continue bringing some of their vehicles here to the US and continue to push higher. Nice little trend line here. You guys can clearly see it on the chart, right? We clear that, you got some open room to get back to those highs.
All right, there's been so much catalyst and so much focus around the energy sector, whether it's nuclear, whether it's, take your pick, clean energy. We get this portion of this European deal that's now got LNG and natural gas kind of pushed to the forefront here. Where do we look as far as opportunities in energy as a whole right now, in your opinion?
Well, I talked about 2 weeks ago, when last I was on, I talked about energy storage swing trades, and we talked about FLNC and BE, which were the two plays that I talked about. Why? Because this was all started to be talked about by Elon on Twitter. It was really starting to be hyped up, and FLNC was a little bit too gone, but BE was right there, and look what happened, a really good deal for Bloom Energy, and now it's starting to take off. Now you got to look for plays to be pulling back here. FLNC is one of those that is pulling back, so maybe we start to go for that one and look for this one to kind of lead, but this is a really good idea, and I think that we continue to look at this. Everyone's looking for the small nuclear reactor to be the solution for these data centers and AI infrastructure, but the truth is, at first, what's going to be the answer and solution is energy storage, right? Just big lithium batteries, and that's why I talked about lithium last time I was on. So continue to watch that materials trade. I talked about SQM, I talked about UUUU, and ALB. Those are your kind of names that have been really going. UUUU is a crazy ride up. That one's a little bit too far gone. Believe it or not, I got to swing short on that thing. I'm up right now. We'll see if I'm able to just kind of nail a short-term moving average pullback. But I think this is also an area to look for longer-term gains, right? This is why the themes are starting to stack up on each other. So the rare earths help the energy storage. The rare earths also help the nuclear trade. You're starting to see how important these materials are. So another thing to keep on watch is, do we start to see inflationary pressures in these materials? And that's why you're seeing so much focus come from Trump and focusing on copper and all this, because it's getting the advice that we really need to focus in on the materials if we're going to have all this growth.
Let's go higher time frame here, or bigger picture. Anyways, coming up tomorrow, we'll get an indication at least, or somewhat of an indication, hopefully, from the Fed on how the rest of this year is going to play out. I mean, the Fed funds tool is still pricing in maybe 2 cuts by the end of this year. I was just looking, the 10-year basically unchanged today. The 30-year is still kind of floating around unchanged as well. It seems like this market just waiting for something to happen. But I mean, to have a Fed benchmark interest rate that's the better part of 2 points above where inflation is at this point doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense.
What? Oh, no. Oh, everyone caught that moment last week. I mean, this is just a game, guys. This is a game with your investment dollars, right? Well, the truth of the matter is, guys, rate cuts, maybe we get one. But that's just if Jerome wants to play nice. At the end of the day, he's ready to hold off because of inflationary pressures. Regardless of the fact, there is inflationary pressure with these tariffs. And when they're going back and forth, changing, that's the truth of the matter is Jerome has to stay on the sideline. Until finally Trump says tariffs are completely done, the due date is done, and he says, I am done. then he can start taking more of a modeled approach to being data dependent and then making a decision if he wants to cut rates. So if anything, this is coming down the line, definitely not this meeting. I don't even see it in the next meeting. I see maybe at the end of the year, one rate cut, but that's all we have the opportunity for, at least from what I see.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, as I was mentioning, like just this clarity alone that we got over the weekend with a European deal and maybe just a blanket type, 15% tariff across the board ends up being the base case for most countries at this point, which I think would give a little bit of confidence, if nothing else, going into that second half and last quarter of the year. Real quick.
The data trickles, right? The data will come in later, right? Because the 15% is set, but then now you have to see whether the effects of that 15%.
Right.
And so as a data dependent, he just needs to stay on the sideline and wait till he gets data on that tariff, how it affected the economy. Once he gets that, then he can make the cut. But until he gets to that, he knows he can't just assume that it won't affect inflation.
Agreed, 100%. Just real quick here on UPS, you a buyer here on the way back up, speaking of inflation and economic factors?
I like FedEx a little bit more than UPS, but that's just because the setup and long-term UPS is really kind of, let's say, the bed with their labor deal. That labor deal really put them in a bad spot here. And of course, what are you seeing more of Amazon? Go away from both of these guys, all right? So in the long run, these guys are gonna really have to start looking for different ways to get shipments. And what's not to say that Amazon doesn't just start saying, well, other companies, if you're gonna ship through us, just send shipments our way. We have trucks going back and forth. So it's going to be a tough environment. I like FedEx more, at least the chart. But this is also a bellwether of the economy. And really, you're seeing UPS and FedEx not do really well.
Again, yeah, unfortunately. Busy couple of days coming up here. Mitch Hoke, best of luck today.
Yeah, guys, got to keep up with everything. And of course, if you want to do some swing trading or some day trading, that's what Trade the Pool has to offer you guys. So definitely check it out. Maybe there's a program for you. Of course, check out the flex ones that are unlimited in time duration. So we'll see you guys on Trade the Pool.
Thanks, Mitch.
Take care.
Thanks, Mitch. So you're saying UPS didn't, they messed things up a little bit. I like that the little belief action. In the aftermarket show, we were talking about getting some extra buttons on the Stream Deck where we can have some sound effects.
Oh, right.
And then someone was like, we don't trust you with the sound effects. I'm like, what? Not me. I would be very responsible if I had.
Who said they don't trust?
Someone in the chat was like,
Oh,
you
in the
don't
chat.
trust you. I'm like, you don't trust me if there's like donuts around or something like that, but you can trust me with sound effects. No, seriously. I mean, Amazon wins. I'm not a fan either of UPS, and it's just in the absolute doldrums. I think that's one we're probably staying away from today. But we were just sort of talking about the Fed in September. I mean, you'd have to have some kind of a. Like, we're gravitating towards that cut. It's all about the labor market. Because at the end of the day, you get a weak number and that's going to pressure them. That's what it's all about. It's going to be about that labor number. And that's pretty much the only data piece that I think can shift the needle drastically this week. So I don't think much is going to matter tomorrow. We'll see. But at the end of the week, that could be the number that matters the most. It's all about that labor market. Remember, it's a dual mandate with those guys. And the only reason I have Amazon up here is Mitch was just talking about UPS and FedEx and Amazon. And what a glorious, boring run right back into highs. There's nothing like a boring bull market. It's just steady Eddie to the upside.
All right. Yeah, look, some great ideas there by Mitch. You talked about that BE. That's been a real hot fire trade there. Bloom Energy really been taking off. So great call there by Mitch. That's 26. I mean, it was a couple weeks ago, as he had mentioned, so it must have been down into here. That FLNC not as hot. But yeah, I actually talked about UNH as well, thinking that we might have a downside push continuing there on earnings. And just some of those good ideas. You always don't, as I was mentioning before, here's FLNC. You don't necessarily want to be in the same names as everybody else. And sometimes you got to play some kind of pullbacks. and right there, FLNC coming back into $8. You know, another name there that keeps going upside as well. This is a name that I've never even looked at, so shout out to Mitch right there as well. 6 up to 10, talking about putting a short back on. So sometimes some of these names get a little bit frothy to the upside or to the downside. They get a little bit wasted, and there are buying opportunities. So UUU looking for that short, and then UNH potentially looking for that long. And sometimes, even despite all the bad news and everything that's out on some companies, most of the time when you're getting a stock that looks sort of the way UNH does, you know, you've had a lot of it come off already. So just kind of piling on here, you know, to what was once this huge behemoth in the Dow. I was wondering about a way of playing this is also maybe to just take the Dow Jones, the diamonds, and Dow 30, because if there is some recovery back in the name, obviously, you don't have single stock risk then. You have a little bit more diversification with 29 other names. Included in that would be NVIDIA, but it does look like we're breaking a little bit lower rate here on UNH, down 4%. Centene as well. All these names today aren't going to be great. And then trying to buy some value there. There it is, down another 1%. What about Merck? I mean, Merck's gotten hit as well. I mean, there's lots of names that we're going to look at here. Some of them have been upgraded, and some of them have been downgraded, and some of them are earnings plays. Let's go find the former with Adara.
We have a very interesting upgrades and downgrades list today, starting with Sarepta, shockingly getting an upgrade here from Oppenheimer. This company certainly lots of highs and lows right now, though. Looks like a good look with a $37 price target. Generac with the Guggenheim upgrade this morning, and Rosenblatt actually weighing in positively on these quantum plays, both IONQ and D-Wave or QBTS, getting positive notes there from Rosenblatt. Downgrade side of things, Albemarle reports earnings tomorrow. Ahead of that report, down about 2% with a Robert W. Baird downgrade. Domino's here, DPZ with a downgrade from RBC Capital Markets. Tapestry getting downgraded by BofA Securities. And last but not least, Western Union with a downgrade from Monness, Crespi, and Hart. Very interesting list across the board, guys.
Yes, a very, very interesting list, especially double barrel on the quantum name. But first, let's give a shout out to Eddie Sarkeesian, the coffee money. I appreciate you, brother. You were there last week. Well, I mean, we love the generosity, as every page says right there. So thank you so much for that. And you know, it's just such a great community that we have. And I know this trading community loves the quantum names, right? To trade, probably a lot of people have made some shots in this, or at least swing trades, day trades, if you don't own one of them. And upgrades, downgrades, they can matter sometimes, but the trend is your friend until the end. QBTS has been riding it to the upside, riding that 50. Actually, you know what? You can't even, it's essentially, it's a hoverboard over the 50-period moving average, right? Like, it's bouncing over there, but like Marty McFly is just holding above. And what I love that float. You can see it strong off that trend, and so you know you've got the support of the 50 period and putting in the higher lows. But it's such a good buy area that apparently it just can't even get there. Sometimes that shows you how strong a move might be. Still want it to be able to squeeze through and make some fresh highs because this double top at 20 is a big deal. But this seems like you keep this pattern up, eventually you just squeeze right into that top break through $20. It just hasn't really happened yet. It's within a stone's throw. I think the day that it breaks out, I'm looking at like when 21 goes more, because 20 failed a couple times on QBTS, like multiple times. So I think you really need to see like 20 and a half or 21 go. That could happen this week. Maybe that's enough of a catalyst to get there, but you never really know with an upgrade or downgrade. Volume's only okay.
Yeah, I saw DPZ on there as well. I thought we had Papa John's was buyout there. Domino's, what, 56? Didn't I see Domino's on there, 56 share volume? But anyways, at the end of the day, this name, not doing much. Remember, this was a huge runner for a while. Was it PZZA? Is that what Papa John's was? Let's just see, because I think a couple weeks ago they grabbed a buyout or potential interest in the company.
It was a rumor, I thought.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe nothing came from that. Okay, so I just wanted to see what this stock was up to as well. Kava, another name. We saw Chipotle and everything making some moves, and you know, Kava is another one of those names. If you can get this name down into the 70s, I think this is a good buyout. I mean, 70s would be nice, but down into this opportunity here, trying to bounce off of the 50-period moving average. Kava looks pretty good. On deck as well, Starbucks coming through very, very soon. So there's going to be lots of stocks to talk about here today. upgrades and downgrades on that list, you know, not, as we said, not huge there today for those upgrades and downgrades, but many, many names making movements. And as we get ready for what is going to be and what is the biggest, you know, just net market capitalization week for earnings right now, 84%. I guess that's a number from yesterday. So I guess over last night, more companies beat. So we're north of 80% here on the S&P 500 so far with beats this year. So no point in this quarter, no point that thinking that these companies won't beat again. Hence why the NASDAQ and all that, as Brendan said, just keeps on making moves to the high side. We had a good move in the dollar yesterday as well. You know, everything trying to climb. Gold, Bitcoin rate. Bitcoin's kind of just chilling at 119. We sort of mentioned that. And then, of course, it's just hilarious yesterday that Michael, it doesn't matter. Michael Noss is not predicting anything. He was just talking. He talked to some people about potentially Solana making some huge moves. That if you go back into the crypto space right now, 10x. I hate hearing all that stuff, but Solana 177. So yesterday was 190 something. So maybe 10x the other way, but down 5%. I own Solana, and that's going to be a problem. But some of these other names down to 78 cents right here as well. I feel like I have to refresh this. Cardano 88 cents. Sorry, there's Solana 184. So down 8% on the week. Down 8% on a week. Ethereum's the only one that's been up here over the last week. Ripple down as well. XRP down 10%. Bitcoin just flat for the week. So lots of money to be rolling through here. Wow, market cap almost 4 right now. So it's getting, we're getting up there right now in crypto land. I remember when it was 354, now we're nearing 4. I guess we probably had broken 4 trillion at one point as well. So it just keeps on heading higher here. But yeah, let's count your money here. It's 9 o'clock. We have 30 more minutes before this casino opens up. So get those chips ready. I don't know if it's an all-in day or not, but we'll be rolling some dice right off the open. Let's go find out what names we're looking at. Get our watch list. It's in the description. Sharif talking about the market.
64.24, that's where we closed out yesterday on the ES December contract. Literally the same area we had closed out the day prior or Friday's close. The overnight high and the overnight low are going to be very much similar to yesterday's, with the overnight high being 42. So we'll continue to use that 64.50 as resistance to the downside. We won't even say the 100-point area because the overnight low's right at that quarter-point area, and we're above it right now. We'll say 64.25 as support.
Yeah, into the gap here this morning so far for the NASDAQ, trying to come back to the downside, was up better part of 0.5%. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab that. Jump down to the description of this video. Top link will get you to the sign up page. All you need is your email address and you get the watch list for absolutely nothing. It's free. Comes right to your inbox every single day. Yeah, let's start with Spotify right now. That's the market. First off, as I mentioned, just taking out that pre-market low right now, trying to get back to the downside. Couple of red numbers here for Spotify, signifying a couple of misses on the actual individual numbers. Forecast kind of weak for them as well, which is a little surprising.
They added users, Brendo, but as you mentioned, the finances don't look that good, at least for the current quarter. Let's talk about it. They added 8 million premium subs in Q2, topping the analyst forecast of 5, so an easy beat there. They also ended the quarter with 276 million premium subscribers and 696 million monthly active users, above that 689 expected by the street. But this is kind of where it all falls apart. A surprise loss here and a revenue miss. Reported a loss about 48, what do you call euro pennies, Brendo?
Euro pennies?
Euro pennies. We're going to go with euro pennies. 48 euro pennies per share on revenue of 4.75 billion euros, missing analyst targets of 229 per share and on 5 billion in revenue. Revenue did rise 1.4% year over year, below the street's expectations, and the stock, as you saw in the pre-market here, dropped substantially, about 7% or so. Higher costs are the problem. Q2 profitability impacted by elevated operating expenses and social charges related to payroll tax that they had to take. In contrast, the year-ago quarter saw a profit of €1.44 euros per share on 4.13 in revenue. And the guide here, as you mentioned, Brendo, kind of light. They guided Q3 revenue of 4.86 billion euros, short of the 5.25 billion euros expected by the street. And they do expect to add about 5 million more premium subs, up to 281 million. And the monthly active users, Brendo, are going to grow up to 710 million, according to the company.
Yeah, podcast moat that they were trying to build themselves seems to have kind of dissipated, at least. It's not what it used to be anyways, with a lot of people going back to YouTube and other platforms. I mean, it's big $700 stock, guys. Thoughts here for Spotify?
I know when we brought them up yesterday before the earnings, we were sort of hinting at the other places that people are going. And I mean, ultimately, it just feels like this is, and we're comparing it to Netflix in terms of just how it's been behaving. And I would venture to say, I mean, I think just comparatively, the charts are similar, but Netflix had its recent quarter was better. In my estimation, and so I think you're getting some continuation to the downside. I mean, $620 or the 200 period moving average. I only say 620 because, well, if it was resistance 3 times and then support twice, the last few times it got there, I think that would be an interesting bounce spot for Spotify. It would be down 10% if it got there. It'd be down 11, actually just over 11% if it were to get to $620. I think that's the today or this week buy zone for it to settle down here on Spotify, because I don't like what I see. And it doesn't, what's interesting is all the other names I feel are a little bit more likely to get traded. SoFi, Nvidia, PayPal, and Novo. But there's an outside chance there's an SSR bounce in this stock today. Around, if it gets down to 620 though. I don't like the look of the chart. It's probably not something I'd be looking to pick up on a dip in a longer term, but I think you can find a trade down there if it gets to 620.
I mean, I like the fact that I was just reading here, premium subscribers and ad-supported monthly active users increased by 12%. So that's pretty good, and 10% respectively. Guide lower, right? I mean, whenever you're guiding lower there, I mean, it's still a big number, 494 billion versus 515. But finally, Spotify, and I think it was kind of telling us the story here that Spotify was primed to potentially miss. I mean, you were underneath the 50 period or right at the 50 period moving average into earnings. So, you know, if we're going to look for something, I mean, now we can sort of move forward and say, okay, if the stocks sort of are pulling back like this, maybe there is something wrong with the business a little bit there. I don't necessarily think there is, but there's a lot of option now between Spotify and different streamers out there. I don't know if they have anything unique enough. You know, they were going up on, you know, they had Rogan. Now, you know, I can get Rogan. I mean, it's on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, everything, all this kind of stuff. So obviously Spotify going live. I mean, there's always content that they can stream and that they can have advantages over. And I think there's always smart people involved here, and they'll get it all figured out. But you're at a really great level here of like 620 or so. Like, we sort of held this area. I don't like the fact that we're underneath the 50 period moving average. I think it's better to let it settle down. And if we can base somewhere around here, 620, then I think that's where you would maybe step in, and then you could start using the 200 period as some sort of an out, or, you know, worst case scenario down at 560. But I think we're getting into an area. I've only owned Spotify on its direct list, which was a bit, I think, 150, but it's been such, and I'm not in it anymore, but it's been such a nice, strong play. And I remember getting out of this name. I thought it was around $500 or $600 in and around here, and we talked about it on the show. And then it just kept on going. I mean, up to 780. So everything is due for a pullback. When I see names like Costco and Netflix and like other names that I think are really strong pulling back as well, no surprise here that Spotify, which has been a winner forever, continues to make this move. So I'm not even sure what happened here in February, but we had a pretty nice move back there. And then into April, of course, goes back into those levels. I mean, that's just the market dumping, I guess. But back into those levels on tariff talk again. So that's $500. So we do have a little bit of ways to go. I feel like it's just a guide thing. So I don't know, maybe give it another quarter or so. Definitely 2-3 day rule has to be in play here, down 7% to Spotify. A little more extended than I think many traders thought to the downside.
SoFi here holding up nicely, just below $23. Did get above it initially on this move this morning. We're back below right now. Solid numbers right across the board. The guidance beat as well for Anthony Noto and crew.
It was a good report all across. To be expected. We've seen this from Hood and SoFi. Let's talk about it, Brendo. EPS 8 pennies, beating the 6 expected by the street. Revenue rising 44% up to $858 million. Their highest revenue growth in over 2 years with 29% EBITDA margins. Major sector growth saw lending, Brendo, increase 32% year over year. Their tech platform 15%. In financial services, oh baby, 106% year over year, up to $303 million in revenue on the quarter. Let's talk about the guide. Full year revenue outlook raised to $3.37 billion, up to $3.31, up from the $3.23 to $3.31 earlier guided. Adjusted EBITDA up to $960 million, above the prior consensus, and the full year adjusted EPS forecast raised about 31 pennies, and that's above the previous range of 27 to 28. So take your pick. It's above both those numbers, and they add added 850,000 new members, bringing the total now to 11.7. That's a 50% year-over-year increase in added members, and loan originations rose 64%, Brendo, up to 8.1 billion, with home loans up 92%, as well as credit card refinancing. Everybody wants to pay down their COVID loans. Also, crypto, really good here. SoFi is expanding AI tools for fraud prevention, dispute resolution, and compliance. And the company's also testing their AI chat bots with customer service features. So AI and crypto very much a focus for this. What do they call them? Fintech companies?
I guess.
They call them fintech, DeFi, whatever.
Yeah. I was actually kind of surprised. It was #2 on Google Trends this morning, guys. Lots of people loving SoFi here today.
A quarter like that, there, you should love it. That was, you didn't hear a single negative thing said. At any point, the call was basically that as well. I mean, the growth has been fantastic. It's still got a small short float. Maybe not it was over 20% some time ago, but maybe not as big as it was before. But when you see something like this, now caveat, and I'll get to it in a second, but the caveat with SoFi is I've seen double digits before, and then it sells at the open on earnings. So we've seen this story before, but it's been on an absolute tear. The prior high is about 22.80. So I think as long, kind of put over under to that level, and it already dipped there once. So as long as we hold on to 22.80, I'm looking long over. But if we lose that level in the opening range, I know the drill, and the dip, when it loses that big level on SoFi, tends to be a little deep. So I'm waiting till it's like 20. I put 21.40, but I mean, if it got down there, I'd probably start at 21.50. Those are the two places I'm looking. 21.80, hold that at the open, and I'm only looking longs, at least till you get to the $25 level. If we break that underneath, that's also happens to be VWAP as well, so that'll be a good litmus test. But this is a stock that I am very much willing, if it loses that VWAP area, to just let it fly, because you got to wait for that bigger dip. We've seen SoFi do this so many times where everything is perfect and it's gapped up, and then right at the open it fails the high, or you get one little breakout and then it fails.
All right, I mean, what a great quarter there. 8 cents versus 6 cents, 8.58 versus 8.01. I mean, they crushed it, and it's a congratulations to SoFi. We talked about Anthony Noto's been buying shares for this company for a very long time, his own company buying back shares for himself personally. We're going to wait to see if we can get that guide, which has been higher right there. The company raised GAAP earnings guidance 31 cents, better than 28 cents. So not only do they put out a good quarter, but they also see a better future than expected as well. So I really like it, man. Revenue guide 337 versus 327. I mean, it's good, right? But I wrote down here on the sticky note, very similar to what Neil was talking about. We are now out. I put it in the chat a little bit right there. I have SoFi down here. If we can pull back, it has pulled back on earnings releases in the past. So we're going to look for that again. We just wrote that down there into $22. That's where the 200 period moving average is. Not that I think that's going to happen. I mean, I actually think that we're most likely to break out through this top of 23.50 right now. The thing is, it's only 9.12. And because in the back of my mind, I've seen SoFi make these moves back into these levels many times before, that there's a chance that happens again. I mean, up 11%. Like I said, I think the expected move was like 7 or 8% last night. So SoFi, again, exceeding it. And we've had Danielle Shea on here before mentioning to us, when a stock outperforms, you have a good continuation possibilities. So I do like SoFi right here. And I think that it'll probably be a missed trade, breaking through 23.50. It's probably going to happen immediately. We do have the NASDAQ imbalances coming out at 9.25. So we'll be able to see if there is a bid underneath this name or not. But for right now, we're just bouncing up. We're hitting our head against 23.50. At some point, we're going to break it. I'd rather see it break during the day so we can have some pressure on the name instead of just in the pre-market. So we'll wait, see if we get a big market on buy open, and I think we probably take that long. 23.50, using VWAP back into there. But for me, a more patient play is to wait to see if we can get 22. And if we can get that, I mean, we'll start the bidding wherever this 200 period is. So 22.25, 22.50, wherever it is, by the time 17 minutes comes around and those doors open up, then we're going to figure out what we want to do with SoFi. But we want to go long. We just got to figure out the right price. So 23.50 has failed numerous times. Not sure it's going to hold, but we need to see it break, and I'd like to see it break with volume right off the open. So with these imbalances, they're not out yet. These are all NYSE names. So we have no idea what's going to happen. What if there's a 500 or a million share offer, then you probably do get that float down, and then we can wait for it to, hit the market and then take the long rate off the open. And if it's a bid, then we probably take that out right there at 925 anyways. So yeah, 23.50, a good long price. I think if you punch the long, you just give it back to 23. I think it's 50 cents worth of a risk and probably worth it there for SoFi today. But let's be patient and see if history repeats itself with SoFi.
NVIDIA, guys, breaking pre-market lows right now, or support anyways, back below this 179 level. You've been paying close attention to this China H20 story that has little twists and turns, it seems like, every single day that tend to not really make a lot of sense. But I mean, if you missed it, the Trump administration comes out, says NVIDIA can now sell the previous generation, the H20s, into China again. But doesn't mean they can make them.
No, Brendo. Yeah, well, when the cancellation came into play in April, as you mentioned, when Donald said, no more H20s to China, Jensen had to call up Taiwan Semi and say, hey, don't need them. So Taiwan Semi had to reallocate that production capacity to other clients. And now that the H20's back, exportable to China, Jensen wants to make them to the tune of 300,000 here, and that's what he's ordered from Taiwan Semi. The problem is, though, guys, Taiwan Semi can't make these H20s for another 9 months. They don't have spare production capacity, so Jensen can only sell what he has. So this 300,000 looks fantastic, and they definitely want to keep China addicted to American technology, to kind of use a Howard Lutnick phrase there. But we'll have to see how this all works out in terms of logistics. Just to give you an idea, Brendo, that H20 cancellation cost NVIDIA $10.5 billion in projected revenue in the April and July quarters combined. That's not chump change.
Not at all. Just real quick, NTHI popping up here in front of me, a new partnership. It looks like $50 million partnership announced here for Neon Technologies holding 8 million share float on this one, guys.
Out for them. But ultimately for momentum, sometimes that's what you want to see, is that lower float. NVIDIA, don't have to worry about the float there. Don't have to worry about the stockpile of chips either. They have a good idea of the demand. They know what's going on, and they're building out because they have a sense that demand is going to continue, and there's been nothing to tell us otherwise. It was a day yesterday where SMCI and AMD just moved more, but except for right at the end. So NVIDIA leading the charge this morning with the gap up. I liked it back into 178 if we're not breaking 180 for NVIDIA. And then, of course, I mean, the trend is so good on all of these. And yesterday, I almost said SoFi. SMCI was just a huge mover. It's pulling right back into the open top, which is just underneath 59. 59 wick high, and then 58.5. That's almost like that dip buy zone coming in right off of the open. So it feels like this might get there first before NVIDIA tags a 178 for a bit of a test. But those are the two names that I'll be watching. Oh, well, I should... I'll throw this one in there, just because until this closes above this gap down, I mean Intel. Until Intel actually breaks this little gap high, I want to be fading into it, right? So gap down on earnings, and you've got essentially the same top a couple times, pre-market top and then open top at about 21.25. Until that breaks, I want to short every fail of that level on Intel. No real catalyst for it to get there, but then I didn't think it would get there yesterday either, and it did. So that kind of came in as a secondary play. If I'm shorting a chip name, it'll be this one. Otherwise, going right back to the well with SMCI and NVIDIA.
All right, yeah, same thing for me, except for I'm on the AMD tip. I mean, AMD yesterday was an absolute monster trade, and it was breaking through the open. Let's see if we can do it again. I mean, we don't get as much good as... The news flow isn't as great this morning there, but I was just saying that watch out for the huge momentum. We got to stay long on AMD. I mean, I didn't have AMD written on the sticky note for many, many months, it seems like, and now I'm looking at it every single day. I mean, this is that momentum that we're talking about, just like straight up. I mean, no one's standing in the way of this thing. We do have obviously some opportunities to go short, but I don't think that opportunity is right now. Breaking through, if anything, it wants to come up here to look at this 190 area, I would think. With earnings, we have everything ahead of this name. Let's just figure out what it wants to do today. 176.50 break long. You're up 1.12% right now. If we get back into the closing price, that's a great spot. That's 174. Those are the dip opportunities. With the NASDAQ making this kind of a move here, I was actually just looking for this morning. We don't have too many data points, right? I mean, just looking out at what the calendar looks like, we've already gone through some of this. At 9 o'clock, Case-Shiller, so that's through. 10 o'clock, Jolt's job openings. We have the big job number this Friday, and then consumer confidence at 10, so that could be something. But other than that, I think we just try to play the momentum on AMD, wait for stories to develop, and yeah, let's just take the long. I mean, I don't really see any reason not to like this name. Yesterday, right off the open, again, we hit this break right there, that pre-market break. It doesn't happen until about 2 minutes in or so, but still, there it goes through 170. 170 is such a better price because it's key. And obviously, there's option eligibility there as well. So right now, you're at that 175. And that could be another level. So that could be supported right off the open. I'm going to wait to see if we do get some pullbacks in this morning. I don't know. There's a lot of, like, I know we're talking about NVIDIA here, but most of these names on there, Spotify was a miss. SoFi obviously was a good report. We've already gone over that. But now you have PayPal's coming next, and then NVO, UNH. I feel like there are a lot of negative stories. Uber on there as well. So I'm not sure the market should even really be up this much, but again, ahead of big earnings this week, anything can happen. And if we get these big hyperscalers talking again about more CapEx spend, I could see both NVIDIA. NVIDIA's at the same levels. I mean, we could talk about NVIDIA breaking through. I know Neil did. So we're going to wait to see what winds up happening. My idea will be on AMD. I just don't see a slowdown in the business right now. So I think we got to stay long, just a matter of what price and if it gives it to us. So we'll try to be patient, but that pre-market break, if it happens right away, I feel like I got to be involved.
PayPal trying to break lows right now. It looks like the earnings call has wrapped up. Last comment I see anyways was a better part of 40 minutes ago or so for PayPal. So interesting comments. CFO straight up saying that they are seeing some softening in retail spending, which is part of the reason that this thing is down this morning. The forecast not great here for PayPal.
No, the guidance was not that great, Brendo. We'll get to it in a second. Sorry, no animations over, or no pictures over here. Adjusted EPS came in at $1.40, guys, beating the $1.30 expected by the street on revenue of $8.29 billion, again ahead of estimates of $8.08 billion. Sales rose about 5% year over year, and the CEO Alex Chriss emphasized a shift away from low margin streams. Now let's talk about how they did in their different segments. Transaction margin dollars rose 7% to $3.84 billion. That's 6 straight quarters of growth in that particular segment. Total payment volume, $443.6 billion, topping the estimates. And active accounts climbed about 2% year over year on the quarter, up to 438 million active accounts. Let's talk about how Venmo did, another big revenue source for them, grew 20% year over year, growing like they did in Q1, about 20%. Venmo payment volume also rose 12%, the fastest growth rate for it in about 3 years. But this is kind of where it all falls apart. The Q3 EPS guide, they're guiding $1.18, $1.22. That's sort of at the midpoint. The midpoint is 120, and that was consensus as well. Transaction margin dollars rose 4%. Full year EPS guide, though, Brendo, $5.15 to $5.30, kind of at the midpoint there in the free cash flow guidance, $6 to $7 billion.
Just seeing a couple of comments coming across here from Novo. We'll get to it in a second here, but NVO didn't really move on it, but heads up, this one coming up next, down huge.
It wasn't like it was all that bad with PayPal. Like you actually had some beats. The guide wasn't bad, and ultimately, ball don't lie. It's bouncing off the 50-period moving average. Like, that's about all I can give for you. Like, I don't necessarily want to catch this one to the long side when it doesn't seem like the price action has been all negative so far, and this one gets to 71. It's weird how this plays out sometimes. I find that after earnings, the amount of times that a stock going SSR ends up randomly at a pretty significant level, it just seems pretty high. And if this got to $71, that's this level here from the 11th, so go back a couple of weeks. I think that'd be a better bounce spot. I'm inclined to think there's a bounce on this today just because it didn't seem all that bad, but the real level's down at 71. So if it's not if it doesn't ever get down there, maybe it just sets up one of those long trends. Like it's already got one in the pre-market. Maybe it just has like a long trend that can break later on in the session or later on in the morning that I can play. Because this is not one that I want to short that happens to be down.
Yeah, we saw XYZ get involved here with the S&P and that announcement. So that's sort of that bump up right there. They're going to be down 1%. I think if you're going to look for some strength anywhere, maybe it would be in this name, getting a little bit of a hit there on nothing that they have done to themselves. So it's starting to work out here. Nice little break up through $80. This could be a good long. Again, no volume, 76,000 shares right now. So there's not much going on. But we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening there with Block. But yeah, PayPal. I just think all the attention is going to be on SoFi. I mean, you are starting to go a little bit lower. PayPal's been a really good performer as of late. They had 5 or 6 straight up days and then the pullback right into the 50-period moving average. So, when I was reading over this number there, adjusted earnings of 140 beats 129, sales of 8.3 billion beating. So, their current quarter, very good, right? But then when you look forward there, EPS guide of 15.50 to 15.30 also is beating estimates. So I'm not, other than the fact that their payment transactions were down, I mean, PayPal shouldn't have payment transaction issues. There are a lot of opportunity in this market for PayPal to bounce back from this. So let's, if business is working well, I think PayPal can continue to do well. So bouncing off the 50 period, as Neil said, I think that's a good little spot. So I would buy some, start a position on PayPal here if you haven't yet, down 6%. I think you're getting a good little discount there. Fintech names will be hot again, and they are in certain spots, including SoFi right now. Here comes the imbalances. They just got dropped there for the NASDAQ. I don't really see anything as of need right now. I mean, all these NASDAQ names are nothing that we're looking at. So there's SoFi actually. Oops, I just saw it. It was a small sell. There, oh, there it is right there. So it's starting to get bigger here as we get released. So yeah, the moves started to happen. We almost broke the pre-market high there. Then we started to fade out a little bit. I feel like it is going to do that. So SoFi could be a big trade off 23.50 immediately. And if you do take that trade off the open, I think a pullback into VWAP or this 50 period is just $23, worth the shot there for 50 cents on SoFi. But right now, not much happening on the imbalances. Let's go talk about NVO in the healthcare space, or the health biotech space. Yeah.
I had to zoom out even further here on the daily chart to figure out where we are today, all the way down here, so easily below that April low for NVO. 51 coming into play here, just getting crushed on a guidance reduction. I mean, straight up saying the Wegovy penetration within their cash channel has been lower than expected right across the board. I mean, increased competition, a lot more options for people, making pricing coming down.
Exactly, and that's the problem right here. So let's talk about it. They cut their 2025 sales forecast down to 8 to 14% growth. That's lower than what they guided prior. Operating profit now expected to be about 10 to 16%. Both are lower than expectations. Now, to build on your point, Brendo, the lower guidance is kind of driven by slower growth in both Wegovy and Ozempic, these GLP-1 drugs that we're seeing a lot more of. Wegovy uptake in international obesity markets was also lower than expectations, and growth headwinds kind of include competition, pricing, as well as the increased compounding of GLP-1s. They're being made on-site in compounding pharmacies, and that was allowed by the FDA so long as there was a back order on the actual drug. That hasn't been the case for some months now, and Novo Nordisk as well as Eli Lilly are very, very much in litigation with a lot of these companies to stop them from doing that. That obviously takes time, Brendo. So full H1 first half results will be released August 6th, but this was a preliminary look.
Yeah, and worth noting all of these, anything involved in this group down on this morning, including Eli Lilly, guys.
He obviously is going to affect Eli Lilly, but not nearly as much. Eli Lilly looks way better. I just don't know what's going to get Novo going again at this point. Like on the weekly, you can get an idea of how far we've come back. You go all the way back to 2022 when this run started and it was just underneath $50. You're now at 54. You're within just over 10%. Like where this bounced is almost back to where the party started here. Like back to square one. Like come on. Eli Lilly is still up like 4x from those levels, or at least 3.5. I'd have to double check, but probably closer to 4. So I think you're in trouble with Novo. That said, that's just too good of a bounce level that if we see that in its SSR, which it's not going to jump and not be 10% down at the open. It opens in 1 minute. This is 10% down. The only trade I think I look for is an SSR bounce, and we just went back to show you the weekly chart. You get underneath $50, that 48 level is a monster one from a couple of years ago. So yeah, that's where I would look for play, the bounce on Novo specifically.
Amazon's on the sticky note today. The sticky note is now out. You guys can go find that. Again, I really like this stock. It's just breaking right now. The price that we had written down, and I'll put the sticky note in the chat, was $234.30, which is what we're coming into right now. So there it is right there, Amazon breaking $234.30. So that looks like it wants to go, and it looks pretty juicy to me right now, Amazon breaking some of these highs. So we're going to have to watch out for that right off the open. I mean, and again, it's going to go. So maybe we have to wait for $234.50 or so to break right off the jump. But it's looking pretty good right now. That is Amazon trying to get going. So we'll give that about $1 worth of space if it does break, with only 10 seconds left now. Neil will ring that, or Daryl will ring the bell coming through. So shout out to Fabian. What's up, Fabian? Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to watch out for some SoFi here. We're probably going to get into Amazon. We're going to watch out again for AMD and whatnot. But here goes Amazon right now. And then there we go. We are now in on this one. So far, so good. Well, one trade. We'll have to wait to see if it's good or not. There goes SoFi breaking through as well. So we've got 2 of these trades on board right now. Let's get some out. Trying to play some kind of momentum. There goes Amazon. There goes SoFi again right now. Nice little bounce there to the upside. So let's wait to see. Give it a little bit of room. We did cash out of a little bit of that trade right now for SoFi, but there's the early pop on what was it a buy and bounce? Can't remember. Yeah, it was a sell and bounce on SoFi. So Amazon turning around. We got something. No, we didn't get anything out on Amazon actually. It breaks through and then only goes about 20 cents. And here's a little bit of a pullback, but watch out now. All these breakouts are coming back in, so you got to have stops for sure. SoFi, good couple outs there. Let it settle down, but it is trying to fade out just a little bit here, SoFi.
Oh, just one note. I forgot to mention Uber was in my note, but Uber, we talked about the bad news. It was a Waymo thing and looking incredibly weak, but I'm playing it in front of the pre-market lows here. Sorry, check that. Pre-market resistance here at 89 and a quarter to see if we can't get in and out of that one. We did have NVIDIA go down to 174. It just pumped to the upside after getting, there's your sell off the open. There was no sell and bounce, I didn't think, but 178, that was the first level to look for myself and NVIDIA. I did think we'd have a better chance at getting SMCI first, but it doesn't look like it's going just yet on SMCI. That one's breaking out through 60. It looks like we're not going to get the dip into 59, and we'll have to join that party at the 60 level.
All right, there it is, man. It's a dollar club right there. Is your number one trade so far. I mean, Neil's probably got a good one there. I do like Uber short. That was the only short idea that we had written down. But there goes SoFi, and bang, that's your banger of the day right there. So we'll props it up. But it looks like it's going the other way right now for Amazon. So we did get excited by trying to punch that long. But it's right now into a spot where we need to be worried for this trade for sure. Breaking through 233.50. That's going to be an out for me right now as there it goes. But what's going on? Uber's tanking?
Well, Uber's going down. It's NVIDIA. Well, I want Uber to go down. I don't want NVIDIA to go down. NVIDIA is still battling that 178, and we're still on the Uber chart. So
oh, yeah, there goes Uber. It's not breaking yet.
There we go. Sorry. One's NASDAQ, one's New York. I hit enter too fast.
Oh, SoFi at least.
I have my stop 177.5 here. If we can hold that, great, but it's not looking too good for this bad boy. As NVIDIA head to the downside, SMCI, okay, SMCI is holding at 60 for now, but if we lose this 177.5, remember yesterday, it was a dip and rip there in NVIDIA, so I don't want to miss an opportunity. This goes green, starts breaking out, then we can have an opportunity where we can add to this position, I think. So a little bit of a bounce happening as we speak. I want to see this close holding this 178, because that's the big level for us on NVIDIA. Uber just tagged 88 quarter, so I got a couple of legs out there, but it's the longs that, I mean, the NASDAQ is pumping right now.
Oh, boy.
So when you're looking at dip buys and the chip names, maybe the chips aren't the lead today. And neither is Tesla. That's down almost 1%.
Yeah, we're trying our best here to hold on with some Amazon, but wow, oh wow, man, what a trade this has been there for SoFi. We talked about this one, it taking out some levels, and there goes SoFi. Absolute ripper right now through $25, man. Spin it one more time right there. What's up, Travolta? All the things have changed. There, Neil, 25 and change right now for SoFi. $1.50.
Disneyland.
Yeah, $1.50 in the money right now for SoFi. Yeah, we are going to Disneyland again there today, up 19% right now for SoFi. Wow. All right, let's take advantage of this little bit of a bump up here in Amazon. We did buy something down there at 233. That's basically the pre-market low that we got into right there. We decided to buy some, but this has been, we can't, we'll flush ourselves down the toilet for this one. But honestly, this SoFi trade, another absolute banger right there to start. I mean, I wish I could say the same thing for Amazon, but it wasn't, man. It failed at the top. We took out that very high there of 234. It's hockey night in Canada right now in the background right there. Shout out to Russell and whoever's ringtone that is right now. So we like that one. But there it goes, man. 233 and change for Amazon. But it's SoFi, man, and it's their world, and we're all just living in it right now. I mean, I wrote down Uber if we can get something into 90 or a break of 88. So I know Neil's on that one, so hopefully that one can go. But for me right now, it's just a monster trade. Helping with the loss in Amazon is this trade in SoFi. So that was a good one there as we get out more. But watch out here. Amazon breaking 233.
Get it, SoFi.
Can't be a good sign.
Was there, I didn't see the offer at 25. Was there anything on the offer
It broke.
at 25? I know, but I didn't see how big it was.
No, I was missing it.
Okay, it doesn't, look, it doesn't matter. I don't, it's for personal just interest as to how much liquidity was there. That's all. NVIDIA just got to VWAP. That's a good sign so far. So I said if it can close that next candle holding 178, I would add. So I got some at, I believe it got 2s or 3s in there, whatever it might be. But we just got to the volume weighted average price and pushed right back in. So we're still trying to do that right side of the V where you've made that bottom like yesterday. But the thing is, the market's blasting, so you want to have a little bit of faith. As whose song is that?
George Michael.
The market 0.6, but dip and rip. So we're breaking it out. You got to believe that NVIDIA can do some good in a market like that. On the other side of the coin, didn't look at Coinbase in a while.
No.
Uber's starting to break through those lows. So this is one we like to the south side. I don't know necessarily how much I cared about that store, but it was that 90 level that lost on Uber we mentioned yesterday. 50 period gone, 90 even gone. I don't know where the bottom's going to be in this move, but I do think this one at the 200 period, I'm pretty convinced is a buy. And I'm not talking about the day trade. I'm talking about for like the long term. I haven't done much with that stock in a while. SMCI is just holding 60, but I did see it just get to the $0.50 and reverse, so I should take some out if we can get there a second time through. Outside of that, let us know what's going on here. AMD looks like it's going again. Yep, it's going again. AMD's going again. NVIDIA's trying to go.
Okay,
Tesla's not looking very good.
What happened to AMD? Where's my bid?
It's gone.
We didn't get filled. Oh,
It hit
no.
74.
Oh, boo. We had 176, 650, the break, and we didn't, for some reason, we didn't take that right there. Oh, wow. Okay, well, there it goes. I guess it's because it ticked all the way up there. It was quite a big break right off the open. Oh, man, up to 178. What a missed opportunity that was there, as we took Amazon instead, and we should have just, again, stuck with the crazy momentum. We had AMD. I mean, AMD's written down right here, one as the biggest trade of the day for me, and missed it. 176.50 long, or pre-market top break, and there it goes. And instead, there goes Amazon right now breaking through 233. So we'll slap a fail on that one as that turns around and goes the other way. But wow, that AMD, what a missed trade. I mean, we had it written down, and I don't know, I just didn't take it or missed the price. I mean, I still see I have a pending bid here, so that we can cancel that right now. But there it goes right now. SoFi, we've been getting out of that one. We took the hit there on Amazon, but SoFi is really working out. We took some more outs there at 25. We'll see if we can get back up into that level. It's starting to ramp up again, but look at the NASDAQ, man. It really wants to go. It's flying. I want to give Amazon another shot because I don't really know why that's beat up so badly here with the market going to the downside. So I don't know, man. We could
upside, you mean? Yeah.
Market going upside. Yeah, Amazon going downside. So I don't know. Right into yesterday's closing price, 232.70 right now. It's fine, but it sucks because we made some money on SoFi. Gave it back on.
Well, guess what? I mean, Apple's breaking its low of the day and is flat on the session.
I'm so upset about that.
You know, Microsoft I got some bad wicks on Apple. That chart. Thank goodness that Apple's actually not on the plan to trade. Microsoft is breaking out the top. So you have like one of those markets where, yeah, like some things are super strong and then a couple of other names are looking relatively weak. Tesla's at its low of the day and continuing to head to the downside. I like 320 on Tesla. It seems like that actually could be a possibility, even with the strong market that we have in here. Nvidia's looking pretty good, but I did make a keystroke error in SMCI, and that was essentially getting it all out when it went through the 60-40 instead of just taking a piece. I'm going to get back in front of 60 even and just throw my stop back in. We do have our stop there. Nvidia is climbing, but it's having some trouble with 179. So it just wicked the top at 179. This is a play into 180 because 180 is its own break, right? So two separate trades, 178 to 180 ideally. And if 180 breaks, we're going 180 long. You know, you're going to take, when Nvidia is going, you're just going to take the big even dollar breaks for that scalp trade. I probably don't give it a ton of room if it gets up there, but going to have that breakout no matter what if it does. Knock on wood, it does actually get there, everybody. And look, other Zinc just said Meta's in the trash. It's a weird morning. But Meta is not really in the trash. That's just rinsing in both directions. So I consider that one not to be all that bad. Apple was a concern. Tesla's a concern. Meta just sort of diddling in the middle.
AMD is going to bother me because it was such a decent opportunity there. Okay, Novo Nordisk again today. Let's go have a quick look at what that name's doing. Yeah, downside push obviously happening right there. $68 down to 50. Trying to get back through VWAP right now, so $55 and change for NVO again. Yeah, make sure you do hit that like and that subscribe. Gapping down 2025 sales growth forecast 8 to 14%, weaker than anticipated demand for Wegovy right now, sending this name back into the downside. We did have a downside push as well for PayPal there early, and it looks like it's trying to find a base there. We talked about $70. Looks like it gets a 71 in change. Right now, though, we got to go back over to Adara.
Keep an eye on SGD, Safe and Green Development. This is a small capper that's run before. It did run pre-market as well. Trying to get going again off the open. Obviously well below pre-market highs, though. We don't have any news on this, but we do have a bit of a notable float. 1.34 million share float. Market cap $1.84 million. So small float, small market cap, no news. And former runner. What a look here for SGD. Back to you.
SGD. Do not know SGD, but we do know Tesla. Tesla's looking, look, we're talking about the difference in the market here. Like, you have the chips are joining the party after dipping a little bit here, but Tesla on, as far as I know, there wasn't any kind of a negative catalyst for Tesla. 1%? It's down only 1.5%, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a heavy candle off the open. We're into 320, I should say. I almost said $120. If Tesla gets to $120, we back the truck up, but that's not the situation. 320, that's the level I'm looking for this curl here. And it might be, it's still trending down. So you want to give it, if the market's, if a stock is trending in a direction and you like a price, you know, let it get to that price. I'm trying to be patient with it. SMCI, I did get back in at 12. It's right back, and there's sellers at 40 again, so I'd probably just put 42 because I feel like I put that price all the time. But we're bouncing off the 60 level. If we lose 60, I think I'd jump out of this and wait till it gets down to 59. Not running nearly as crazy as it did yesterday at the open, but certainly still relatively strong. Let's see if we can't scalp some more out of this. Nvidia is still really going here as well. And just because I see Cisco in the chat, is that Cisco? Not the real Cisco.
Oh, I've been looking at the chat.
Spot.
I'm so upset.
Almost 10% down.
Now maybe Amazon, just gets to 70 again and stops. Let me take in, too bad. I'm going to take out 10% if we can here in this range. There we go. We get some 70s just because it's not working out and it's just kept on coming in, trying to break us, and eventually it will, I feel like, break that. So we'll get out if it goes back up. We're at 78 as well, 76, sorry, there it is, to get some more outs. Now maybe Amazon can climb back and we could make a little bit back on this one. So yeah, there goes Amazon back up, and there goes SoFi as well. Yeah, what's going on? Let's take advantage of SoFi.
Okay, I just trailed out of. That's not why I said no. I'll get to the reason I said no way in a second. Nvidia just trailed me out. Under 179 has a battle going on.
I cannot believe AMD.
And it just keeps on selling through. Every time it tries to break 179, it's failed, and the sellers are really winning at that level. So 78 to 79, that's what we're able to get, and we're not going to be upset. SMCI, similar battle, but I was on the stock, and then I hit it again. Similar battle there, but it's just 60 to the 60.5 zone. Why I was sort of like, I'm a little pissed off. There's a DRRX is not like your typical gap up play. It's not your typical gap up play. This stock is up 300%, but because they're being bought for $1.75 in cash, plus an absurdly large potential. I think it's like the market cap was only like tens of millions, but there's an additional potential payment of like 360 million, which is like 10x the deal price, depending on certain endpoints getting met for some drug. So it has a ridiculous amount of upside. It just halted to the upside, and I was on the bid a cent lower, and it went like 10%. That's the only reason I'm peeved. And as you can see, I was kind of long it in and out like an idiot, and that's halted to the upside. Because even though it's $1.75 cash, this actually does have some genuine upside to it, which is a little bit unique. That's the only reason you might see me in and out of it. SMCI, same battle at 160. I'll look to see where I can get back into NVIDIA. Maybe it'll be VWAP, but I'm not convinced just yet. I don't love this candle on the NASDAQ. Not if we close underneath VWAP, I won't love that candle at all. It's a bigger volume spike than the open yesterday. And if we were to lose that, you'd have a fail breakout and a bunch of fail breakouts. NVIDIA didn't break the high ultimately. I'm still thinking long, but I'm just not going to jump in too early. When I saw that topping tail candle, I throw my trails in, and of course that means NVIDIA is probably going to go. But yeah, we'll see if we get to 178s again. I'm not sure. I'm still going to take a 180 break on NVIDIA. That's a super strong name. Uber hasn't done much except now starting to hold the volume weighted average price. So that could be the reload spot for me. Instead of thinking we can get out in front of that 89 again, we might just start looking at the VWAP. I'm actually going to move my stop on Uber because I should be stopping it at that lower high. If I'm going to add at VWAP, then I'm going to move my stop to the volume weighted average price.
Looks like AMD's still going, man. I mean, this AMD trade, like, that should be $2. And we should already been on our day. Instead, we got stuck into Amazon. But, to each their own. I think you can also take this break, too, of 179. But look at the market coming back in. We actually started a new position on the TQs, so we'll wait to see if that one wants to bounce back up for us a little bit there as well. We're long right now at 91.13, basically where we're at here. I'm just going to put an offer out and then get to this sponsor read. But, yeah, right now we are heading to the downside on the TQQs as we wait out for that. But if you are a savvy Canadian trader looking to boost their exposure, you can now tap into the NASDAQ 100 and S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3 times daily levered ETFs featuring built-in FX hedging. We talked about the US dollar a little bit there yesterday. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market. Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca, of course, before investing. So we want to thank Global X and Beta Pro. Great product there. Go check it out if you're looking for levered ETFs. All right, so more outs there on SoFi as it come back up into this area that we've had resistance on before, 2460 to 2470. So again, great earnings report. I think it surprised a lot of people. And there's that big sort of FU candle to the shorts. So there it goes, breaking through $23. Nice move to the high side right there. Okay, it looks like the TQs just fell through. The NASDAQ NASDAQ, just nice move down right there pretty dramatically. So
Apple's tanking.
Apple tanking, okay, so that makes a lot of sense there as the market going down with it. We were saying this morning early that there was not the greatest news out there. But,
No, it was a lot of negative earnings.
Wow, look at Amazon too.
Well, Boeing, I'm hearing some stuff out of Boeing, but I'm not really. Well,
they had their report.
Yeah, I'm here. They had the report. It might just be some stuff coming through on the call. So Boeing making a fresh low, losing the volume weighted average price. They were to the upside and breaking out. And unfortunately, it's just another one of these negative names off the open here, and it's not really looking all that great at all. Like Apple, I think Apple might have started that turn. There's not a ton holding up here. I'm looking over at some of those chip names. You might want to keep an eye on, the NVIDIAs, AMDs. I keep wanting to say SoFi. SMCI.
Yeah.
They both begin with an S, and SoFi reported this morning. So, if I'm in SMCI and I say SoFi, I probably mean SMCI. But the chip names are starting to give it up a little bit. You're underneath the volume weighted average price. You're starting to fall back in here. I just saw Tesla broke the low of the day. It's not looking very good for this market. And I didn't have another short idea outside of Uber that wasn't Intel. And Intel is nowhere near the level I wanted to short it, which would have been like 21 and change. That's down 0.7%. I might look at the volume weighted average price there. And here comes SMCI. It's probably going to break down. If we lose 59.80, I'm out of this thing. But every time it closes holding that 60 level, I tend to jump back into it. So for now, this is holding up, but I don't know how much longer it's going to be able to withstand this move.
Yeah, we're here on AMD now, so we'll go back into something that we have at least a chance of winning on, it seems like. Okay, finally, nice little pullback upside now for AMD. So what did I miss? Yeah, the break of AMD through 176.50, but we're right back on it right now, looking to make some damage, put on some damage reports here on AMD. So there it goes, man. We bought the 178 dip buy. Its high of the day is 179, so if we can start to even just collapse them out, even right now, I think we should be pretty happy with that. Nice little move higher here. Okay, there it is. Gets them out in the 60s. Perfect. 165, there it goes. Yes, sir. Finally, let's go. Nice little move there on AMD. So getting some of that bad Amazon money out right now. So good move up there. We'll see if it can break. Now it's coming back in just a little bit. So pretty volatile here as the market doesn't seem to want to go higher, but we'll see. 23.5 still. We're still up on the NASDAQ, but let's just start to empty out some of the clips and not hold on too much to some of these longs. I don't know if the long is right or not there today, but we'll go back into a momentum name, the name that we should have been all over in the beginning, and we just missed that first breakout trade that we've had numerous days there. But let's just play the momentum long again here on your friend and definitely mine, AMD. What's up, Adara?
This is just on Boeing, as we know it's dropping. I was looking to see if they have their conference call yet for earnings. They actually have not. So BA, if you're trading it, watch out. 10:30 a.m. I'm seeing is when that conference call is going to start. I'm seeing some comments from MRK. Merck apparently working to increase demand for their Gardasil in China. Nice bounce off the low, but MRK certainly gapped down and selling off the open. I want to let you guys know as well here at 10 a.m. Just a reminder, Jolt's job openings and CV consumer confidence. So 10 a.m. numbers coming in about 7 minutes. I'll have those for you right here at this desk. Back to you.
All right.
Wait a minute.
What you got going on over there?
Thank you very much, Dara.
Well, I had to hit those thank you, Adara button.
Oh, there's a thank you, Adara button.
Thank you very much, Dara.
So Donald Trump accidentally said that in one of his press conferences.
Oh, okay.
And so we finally clipped it.
Oh, nice. Good.
Like,
well, thank you, Adara.
I'm saying we, like it's not just straight up Fabian. Like Fabian got it and shortened it, so it's absolutely perfect. So every time I remember, I want to be able to use that key.
There's a dollar club finally.
Yeah, finally. Look, actually, finally we have that key is what I was sort of mentioning there.
Yeah.
But I'm still a little bit concerned with this SMCI. It just lost its volume weighted average price, so it's scalping off this level. But look, it's lower highs with the same bottom. So the money fills aren't above 60. They're actually in the 59.9 range. But how about just wait for this to break the trend the next time? I'm not going to keep buying every single dip into a downward sloping trend. I'm going to wait for this to break out that trend or just jump out if it loses 59.8. The market continues to look relatively weak. That's going to mean Uber is probably not going to get to the volume weighted average price. The bad news was Waymo going into, what was it again? Was it Dallas?
Yep.
It's Dallas, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Waymo going into Dallas was the news. And there was some tax thing in the UK as well, which was apparently bad for them, but I think the Waymo thing is a bigger story. But it just made a big hammer down into 87.5, so my trail's gone in to the prior bar low. If it breaks above about 87.70, I'll jump out of that one. So Uber falling with the market. They did have their own catalyst. I think this is going to be a very good buy at some point. We're not necessarily there just yet. I think you got to get down into the lower 80s. It's only at 87.5
I'm missing
bucks.
all the trades, man.
But
Oh
that's
my
right
God.
in. It starts to get into some prior resistance levels on Uber. Don't need that trend line because that's gone.
All right. I just want to show you guys what preparation means. You just got to take the trade. Shout out to whoever just messaged me right there. Look, there's Uber right there, 88 short. Should be 50 cents. I'm glad Neil has that. We don't. 176.50, that should be the long as well. So 2 banger trades there. There's the break on Amazon that we missed, and that broke our hearts right there. 234.30. That does not work out for that break, but the Uber short does, as does the AMD. The TQQs, we never got to that. I mean, we went long on them, but I'm still fine with the TQQ trade. That's I think we could actually even probably get back into this one. It didn't even get down to 90, so that 90 long kind of just squashed even to begin with. But look what's happening there with AMD now. We talked about like just trade with the momentum. So we were a little bit upset there, obviously not getting into it early, but we'll make it back. We don't make nearly as much money because it's not a break there, but yeah, nice move up. We have Jolt's job openings coming at 10 o'clock. If that's bad, watch out for this market to start to move around as we, there we go, I'll get some more out here at 2030s, there he goes. If it's a bad number, you know, that could signal Powell, again, trying to make some moves. So we'll wait to see if that comes through. And again, maybe a bad number, meaning Jolt openings. So we want to see some more, less openings than expected there, which would be maybe a tighter job market. So we'll wait to see if that's what we wind up getting, but that's only 3 minutes away now. AMD really starting to run. And then there goes, again, big, just another big trade alert right there for SoFi, over $1 in the money on that break. It's just crazy that we missed some of these easy trades. And I should have shorted, I mean, I'm glad Neil did. I don't know why I wasn't looking over there. Uber, that 88 break, I loved that break. It never even would have gone against anything right there. Now down 40 cents, so good trade there. Uber breaking those levels. I really, really like that stock. Doing that move. So there it goes, 87.60. We should be short. Look, if anything, although I missed some of the trades, the confidence just keeps on getting higher because just because we missed them doesn't mean that you know, we're reading the board wrong. We just missed those trades. So yeah, so far so good there. As we continue, we're right back on that AMD tip now, $1.50 in the money. So can't complain about everything. But that was definitely a missed opportunity. All right, Jolt's coming out right now. What's expected? I'm just going to check out our own Trader TV research page right now to get that number. Expected 7.52 million. 7.52 million job openings expected for June. So we'll get that number in just a couple minutes. But there goes AMD, is now almost $2 in the money. So we got to be happy at least with that one.
Yeah, good look at AMD. I just got trailed out of Uber. Where'd the position board go? Oh, the position board just disappeared. I just got trailed out of Uber. We just held the 320 level on Tesla, so I just jumped in. So there's your break of the 320. There's your higher low. This is it breaking the prior bar. Was able to get in at 50s and then at 60 something. So average price is 60. But if we lose 320 again, I'm going to jump out of the trade. And then we go back over, just a quick update. Uber trailed out. There's your trend down, broke the trend, get out, wait for the volume weighted average price, everybody. So let's see what happens. SMCI is trying to go. That is going to be a NASDAQ stock, of course. SMCI has now broken that trend, so I'm going to go back to buying it in front of the volume weighted average price, which is a bit different from the 60 even that we've been going long. So SMCI going right back to trending higher like it was yesterday. Strength coming back into these markets. And don't forget, 180 break on NVIDIA could be coming into play pretty soon. 179 quarter is where it's at, 75 cents away. Don't mind being in a breakout trade, but I'll probably give NVIDIA a tight stop if it continues to make this power run. 1 minute till we get jolts. We could expect a little bit of volatility when that does happen, everybody. So just be very, very careful. Let's go to Adara to get that number.
I just want to mention we actually did get some positive talk on Boeing that we don't have the conference call yet. CEO Kelly Ortberg speaking positively on CNBC. I also want to mention CSX. I don't have the chart up here. We're just waiting for numbers, but CSX on watch, seeing some speculation that Berkshire Hathaway might target them for a potential deal. So keep an eye on CSX as we await. Now, in just about 30 seconds, we'll get JOLTS job openings and CB consumer confidence. As Sean just mentioned there, JOLTS job openings we're expecting forecast here 7.5 million versus 7.769 million previous. We are expecting a drop from the previous number. Now, CB consumer confidence, we're expecting 96. That would be higher than the previous print of 93. About 10 seconds left here. These are really the only significant economic data prints of the day. We will get the 7-year note auction at 1 p.m. and the 2-year FRN auction at 11:30 a.m. So some auctions later. And we do now have, or we should now have, this JOLTS job opening 7.437 million, a little bit below the forecast of 7.55 million. CB consumer confidence higher than expected, 97.2 versus 96 expected. So higher than expected CB consumer confidence, lower than expected JOLTS job openings. Here's the SPY. I'm trying to bounce a little bit here off of lows. Let's pull up the NASDAQ, see how that's doing in comparison. Looking pretty similar here. Here's Novo Nordisk. This is one of the biggest non-earnings movers this morning. They did announce that they're going to be cutting their guidance for fiscal 2025. They are expecting lower growth than they previously guided. Here is SPOT, Spotify, one of many earnings names dropping today. UPS also very weak, much like Spotify. We're at low of days. UNH down significantly as well. So lots of earnings weakness, though UNH trying to bounce a little bit here, guys. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content.
You can subscribe it. Thanks, Dara. Wow. I mean, look, we cried over spilled milk missing that AMD trade, but now, Neil, we have $2.50 in the money as it just goes off that 178, breaking through 180 like it didn't even exist. Right there. There it goes. So we're happy. We're back to a little bit happier right now with ourselves because at least we were able to find some strength there and got back into this name. I'm still pretty pissed off that we missed that 176.50 break, but such is life, right? So we missed that one. But we get out some more there of SoFi. So we're going to go 2 for 3 today. AMD, Amazon. Oh, no, 2 for 4 because we lost on these Qs, which aren't doing too much. I was looking at NVIDIA there coming through again. You know, what about dip buy opportunities now? I mean, it's not going the same way AMD is. It doesn't mean that it has to, but I thought it was the next to follow. So I was looking at a 179.50 pre-market break right there. But there's a reason why we didn't write this down as opposed to AMD. It hasn't had the same momentum. It takes a minute sometimes to carry forward into NVIDIA lately. I mean, people are going over to AMD and hitting that instead. So if we do get a little bit of a dip, which we're getting right now, I think we could try to buy it against VWAP there and then maybe even this 178 sort of 40 bottom right there for some strength into the name. But we definitely cleared out of that. I'm going to get out something else right here at 97, but we cleared out a lot of AMD. We were not expecting that kind of a number to be so aggressive there as it popped through 180. And then the number came out not the greatest there as Adair just gave to us. Consumer confidence 97.2 versus 95, so that's good. And then the JOLTS number was 743, versus 751. So again, not a great number there, both sides, but still seems to be holding the market for now. So we'd like that one. So I'm going to just continue doing what we're doing. We just got another out there at 179.90. Other than that,
I stressed the for now because we did just on the NASDAQ. I'll look at the ES in a second. Yeah, ES, same thing. We just ticked VWAP and then headed back a little bit lower. So same thing happening on the ES, maybe not as big of the candle on the ES at the open was much worse, but SMCI just bounced off the volume weighted average price. So instead of buying 60s, I'm buying it off of VWAP at this point. And you could probably draw a nice little trend line here on SMCI. What is wrong with you? This drawing tool. I was just on the drawing tool. There we go.
Oh, no.
There we go. You can draw a little bit of a trend line. We just bounced off 60.25, got to that 40 level again, and immediately started resisting it. Oh, you got to be kidding me. So if we lose 60, I'm jumping out of this at a different stop than we had before. And Tesla was it had just looked like it was going. We're getting filled and past the $0.50, and it loses 320. So we'll take the L on Tesla. We waited for our price level to get in, and that one just continues to sink. It looks relatively weak over there in Tesla land. Looking back over, SMCI is barely holding on to that 60 level. This thing is absolutely tanking. And we got out of Uber, but unfortunately, that's the trail out when it broke trend. instantly slams back to the downside on Uber. But we like that short. And again, it was more just, we talked about this yesterday. I like Uber, the stock. But when it lost that 50 period moving average and lost $90, you're short underneath it. It was 89.5 that was the support level in the 50 period. So it was the second it gave any kind of a bounce back into that 50 period on the daily and fail, we jumped into the short. Gonna look for another place to jump back into this trade on Uber because I only want to be short that. And the market going down into lows. There was only two names that I was looking really short on, and the other one would have been Intel here, just a continuation off their poor earnings, down double digits on earnings day. It's not really giving you much of an entry point yet. VWAP, great if it can get there, then we'll wait around for it. But this market, yeah, kind of a turnaround. It wasn't like, there was a lot of negative names on earnings this morning. So I guess it's not a monster surprise, but none of those negative names were chip names. So I'm still thinking that should be where the constructive longs are going to be. So SMCI is holding on, and NVIDIA, I might not get 178 again. NVIDIA is making higher lows. So if it can continue to make higher lows, should jump into this. But then you're just dip buying more chips. But they're the strength at this point.
So we miss, like I said, man, we miss we get the easy trade, at least one easy trade there in SoFi. Miss the Uber and then miss the AMD. We can go back over to Amazon. I mean, this is where we lost today. And I thought Amazon was primed to go. I mean, heading into earnings there tomorrow or Thursday, I thought Amazon did have a good chance to get going there. But there's the breakthrough. Now you're into some levels maybe where there could be some support. So it's just, do I want to go back to the well here with a beat up name that we've gotten beat up on? I don't know. All right, so we're getting more and more, like we're pretty light now on AMD. We were up to 10% before, and we've got more out. So now we're down to 7% left on AMD as it's coming in. So is NVIDIA right now. We're going to get out, I told you on that break right there. So if we break through 40, we're gone right now on NVIDIA. We only have one out, which was better than where we were in. So that was okay, but that was the 200 period moving average we sort of stopped on and then reversed lower off of that. So yeah, shout out to Charlie. I see you in the chat there. You went short the TQs. I mean, great. Or the NASDAQ, great little call there. Underneath VWAP, looking to break lower right now actually is this market. So I think it's probably a good call to continue on to that short. If you were short into the NASDAQ right now, the TQQs. Remember, we went long and got out. I mean, we were just trying it there off of 91. Once it broke, we got out. So took VWAP, took the 50 period, got out there. I'm surprised I actually didn't hold it until the 200, but pretty good that we did it. We saved ourselves about a dime there. But there it is, trying to go lower right now as you can see this market breaking. As we didn't get the greatest numbers in the world there, as we talked about. So consumer confidence slightly better, Jolt slightly worse. So the market kind of just feeling a little bit, I don't know, a little bit of pullback coming in. We've been so hot for so long right now. We could check out what the DXY is maybe doing. That could be something that we want to have a quick look at. Normally we'll check out the VIX. That's probably going, oh no, actually, I guess the market's green today, so VIX right now 1.3% right now. Let's go. Yeah, let's go to DXY just really quickly. The U.S. dollar index right now. I'm not sure, is this the market we want to look at? Yeah, probably. This is a 1 day, so there's that big move that we talked about yesterday. Looks like it's trying to continue itself again today. Let's go over to a 1 minute chart. Yeah, so as the market pulls back a little bit here, the dollar's starting to go to the upside. So we'll watch out for hopefully some dollar weakness that this market can bounce a little bit off. But right now, nice move higher here for the dollar. So that's the US dollar index right there. But, you know, sometimes, again, you know, depending on where these companies look, the market's not moving that major to like say the dollar's having an effect right now, but we're going to continue to watch out. I like the fact that NVIDIA strength maybe is coming back. We talked about, Neil mentioned there with the chip names, and you know, that's where I wanted to look as well. So we do dip buy into that. There goes NVIDIA making my day back a little bit here right now, buying some chip strength again. AMD and NVIDIA, the two strong ones for myself there today. What's up, Adara?
Just keep an eye here on AAPL. I'm seeing apparently the company, unclear if this is a reporter announcement, but either way, I'm seeing a headline here. The company is going to be launching a foldable iPhone in 2026, creating a $65 billion market. Again, unclear the veracity of this or if this has been confirmed, but either way, Apple reportedly launching a foldable iPhone by 2026. We've heard reports of them planning this phone. This is the first time we've heard anything about an actual date. Guys, back to you.
Okay, getting in the party with the foldable phones, but getting into the party in the super chat land is Ronnie Boy.
Good. What's up, Ronnie Boy?
You're in Spotify. It's 624.29. I like those numbers. Willie Mays, Jesse Barfield. For 100 shares, out 630, full position. We have a key. What? My stream deck?
What happened?
Okay, my stream deck is. Whoa, that's.
What happened?
Okay, my stream deck is really slow. Maybe it's my computer. Anyway, so I was. We'll hit the GOAT one for you because that's what happened. Thanks for putting spot on the radar. That's what the watch list is all about.
Yes.
That's why we go through the rundown every single morning. And I didn't think we'd trade Spotify if it got to 620. I mean, I don't think it got close enough that I would have been in it. But at the end of the day, it's all about idea generation and being in the right stocks that are moving, because you can always find an opportunity in this market. Up, down, left, right, center, all that kind of stuff. I'm seeing something weird in Novo. Novo's down 20% and not moving. And there's an old saying, if it doesn't break the low, there's only one place it can go. This is riding the volume weighted average price. 20% down, and it is riding VWAP here. You've got to think that, let me just zoom in further. You've got to think that if it can break away, and I'm hoping it breaks up. It's always more fun if things go up than down. I'm hoping this one breaks up. If this takes out this local high at 55.38, above the volume weighted average price, I'm punching long, throwing a stop underneath the even dollar, and just seeing how far it can go. There's no way you can hold this wedge forever on Novo when it's down this much. So if it starts to break up, I want to take a shot at the breakout long. Wasn't really on the radar, but you don't see that kind of price action on the stock doing this very often. So we'll take a shot. If it breaks, it'll be this opening range top. Obvious area where I'd try to, oh, that's right, those wicks. Dark pool wicks in there. 56 would be an obvious area to start taking profit, but the gap is gigantic after they missed on earnings. So that's Novo Nordisk, which is how we're supposed to say it apparently. Going back over to SMCI continues to bounce around VWAP as it's bouncing off that 60 level. Higher lows. Let's see if it can finally make the break through that 61, as this one's looking incredibly strong. By the way, there's a couple of halt plays. SLRX has halted a couple times. DRRX halted to the upside, halted to the downside, is now trying to bounce off VWAP. It's been riding VWAP. For anyone out there, I'm just going to read this to you. It's being bought for $1.75 in cash. That's $63 million, the total size of the deal. There is a possible payment of like $360 million, so 6 times the deal price, if they get some kind of endpoints on some drug or whatever, which means this is going to move today. I would treat this somewhat like any other gapper or runner, with the exception that once it's underneath $2, you've got that cash 175 protection. So I really just want to be long the stock, and I kind of goofed by getting out of whatever. But if it gets down to $2, I think you go long. If it breaks $2, I'm long into 175, and if it breaks 175, I'm probably getting screwed.
All right, we've done really well to get out of NVIDIA here, but it doesn't look like it wants to continue to go higher. So, we'll just tap it out. Again, good trade, but not the trade that we were hoping for, because AMD is back to the freaking highs again. Hit the sirens up again for that trade. I mean, this is just continuously extending itself higher and higher and higher. So, yeah, good job there for anybody that's been looking at AMD. That's talking about strength. Wow. Advanced Micro Devices continues to work. What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye on PII. This is one earnings name that's actually been a bit stronger today. Polaris, Q2 adjusted earnings, a beat, which includes a surprise profit and a sales beat. Market cap is a little bit larger here, about $3.34 billion. They are in the Russell 2000 index. Short float here, about 17% for PII. Back to you.
PII.
That's one symbol I promise you Joe wants no part of.
No, he doesn't. He literally hates that. Good one.
He'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna have to hook him up live on the show one of these days. There's no questions asked. He needs to. And when I say that, Joe says he's never had pie in his life. And that's something that we need to definitely rectify. Speaking of,
that's a shocker.
There's no segue to PayPal that I can really make this can be any good. PayPal continues to trend to the downside. It did tag. I might have missed this one. Oh yeah, you've got to be kidding me. It did bounce off $70. I don't think it got short sell restricted, but that's real close. It might have hit 10% down and bounced. So if it gets down to 70 again, I'll try to take that long. I don't know if it actually hit it. I'll just run some math in a second. It's nowhere near that low. 70.30 is the low of the day on PayPal. That's where I'll look to try to pick this one up. Didn't think the market was going to be weak enough for it to get down there, but yet that's exactly where it went. And the report wasn't all bad in PayPal. You know, the guide wasn't terrible. Maybe it was that it wasn't as good as SoFi's. I don't know. It could just be that. Sometimes you get like a weird thing where something in the space is stronger earnings than you, and that's the reason that you're down, if I had to guess.
Yeah, bye-bye NVIDIA right now to the downside. You know, generally speaking, when you have yield pressure and a stronger dollar, it's not great for some tech names. Seems to be okay for some bank names there as SoFi continues to stay hot right there. NVIDIA is a flat trade for us, unfortunately. Well, I mean, we'll flush down the last little bit there, but you know, we tried until eventually it didn't go. So that's, I mean, still, honestly, man, we made back some money here on AMD. I made back about half of what we lost on Amazon on AMD. So we just got that nether move up there. So more outs here for AMD. SoFi $1, AMD $1.70 right there. But there's seasonality as well. You know, late July through to October. You know, generally we wait for that next earnings report season, but we still have big ones to come this week. So watch out for that Amazon. Oh yeah. I'm going to go over some of the earnings that are coming up very soon. But Amazon, if we could take 232, I was thinking about going long on that. But right now, it does have dip buy opportunities. But we're going lower here as the market doesn't seem to want to go lower, but some of these tech names do. Amazon downside. Adara brought us a story about Apple as well, hitting down. I think I have a bid at 210 or so for Apple, so we'll wait to see if that one can get going. Yeah, for longer term there, because I want to get into more Mag 7 names. And although I'm in a lot, I still think that they're the place to be for the next decade. So if we can get some decent prices, we'll try that. Looks like NVIDIA's trying to bounce there. I wonder if we just missed that bottom right there. Let me put on a little bit more just to see if we, boo. Now, okay, now we're starting to go up. So I'll buy some 61s, get some of that. But right now, there you go, 56s. We just try to get those. Are we going to get them? Are we going to get them? Maybe we're not. Let's go back over to Adair. We got them.
Seeing some commentary coming through from the new CEO of Novo Nordisk. His name is Magyar Mike Dudestar. In case you missed it, this was the other announcement that the company made in addition to their guidance cut. They actually did have a new CEO. Their previous CEO resigned or left back in May. I do want to mention here, basically, the new CEO, Magyar Mike Dudestar, saying that the company might need to look at costs after their hypergrowth. They might need to reallocate some resources. He did not provide any details. I did take a quick look at his resume, and it looks like Novo Nordisk is doing something pretty similar here to what Nike did with the hiring of their new CEO, Elliot Hill. They hired someone who's had years of experience within the company, though never in a super front-facing role. Mr. Dudestar, the new CEO of Novo Nordisk, has been with the company since 1992, so over 30 years. Back to you.
I was going to say, like, is his name actually Dudestar?
I mean, the guy's a star.
That's
from what I've heard.
That's legit. That's legit. I mean, his parents called him that? No. His mama didn't call him that.
Dudestar? I don't know. How do you spell it? Dudestar. Dudestar.
Well, I'm going to say Dudestar.
Yeah, why not?
Because that just sounds way cooler. It really does. You know what?
We got to find some other tricks.
You know what's actually strong in the Mag 7 that isn't the chip name? Alphabet.
We had that yesterday.
This is the one. What, now they like the earnings? Okay, you took a minute, but you suddenly like these earnings. 194, there you go. 194, it's like 40. This one breaks 194, $1 from here, and then you're starting to fill in the earnings gap on Alphabet. So I had that breakout trade because I don't think Novo has the ability to go sideways for an entire day. So I'll have that breakout trade, which is distinctly different from Alphabet here. But yeah, a lot of times I want to see where the relative strength and weakness is, and this is where I see the relative strength. Like if the market bounces off the lows, which is what I'm eyeballing right down here, then I want to join strong names. If NVIDIA was at view up, I'd try that. SMCI, we're already buying the dips on that one as it trends higher, but I want to look to something else strong, and that looks like Google to me. So whether we break 194.40 first, or just simply can hold on to the VWAP, like if we can hold higher lows while the market's holding the low, that's a solid entry. So as we test that bottom on the NASDAQ, if we bounce, I want to go into the long on Alphabet here, and if it gets to that breakout price, take our shot when the time comes. Yeah, my chat just crashed too.
Oh, you probably are you watching the show on a high stream?
No, I always reduce the quality.
Okay, that's generally been the key for me there because we have so many things running here. All right, so yeah, look, I feel like although NVIDIA is not going meme crazy to the downside, there's definitely sellers on NVIDIA. So we're flat on the stock, but taking a shot right now, again, long. We're long right here at 46s. So we're willing to lose about 20 cents if we break through. It looks like we're trying to go lower. I mean, I hate losing just 20 cents on NVIDIA, but you know, if you don't get out, then it's just like right now we're just playing bottoms. And it's like picking the bottom. If, you know, if it doesn't hold this one, then we got to go for that. And it's just like, you can't just keep doing that story all the way down. We do hope for a break longer there. I'm going to get something out at 45 if it can get upside. Actually, 47s. I'm trying to make a little flat right there, but it doesn't look like that's happening. So yeah, a lot of pressure happening right now for NVIDIA. It seems like it's not releasing itself, so it is straight downside right now for NVIDIA underneath VWAP. It just can't catch right now a bid. So we're gonna have to wait. Get up so I can get something. Oh, we were just at 47 and just got missed. Get it. Oh, we still didn't get filled. We're still not filled. Oh my God, we're still not filled. So like the only active order that's probably sitting there is mine at 47, and we just didn't get filled there. So crazy there that there's no push through. Go now, man. All right, maybe I'll take a 4 there. I'll take a 44. Let's just wait to see. I still am at 47. I'm just trying to get out of basically 10 or 15%, which we just did right there on this name, because we can clearly see this is not working in our favor to the longs. We just offered 47s in with what's 42 million shares and couldn't even get a fill. So we'll take out another 40 there, but NVIDIA not working to the long side, that's for sure. Amazon, we can have another look. It's SoFi day though, man. SoFi, with what a great report they had there today. Again, beating on the upside, beating on their guidance as well. So SoFi right now, what a monster trade. Taking that early breakthrough, that's what really worked for us there. We missed the AMD trade, but like I said, we get to SoFi. We would have made more money on AMD just because of the experience that we have on AMD. I would have traded similar shares on both names, and this one only goes $1, AMD goes $4. But there goes NVIDIA breaking lower again. So yeah, I feel like that's really where you got to look here for weakness and strength over in the other chip name with AMD. So AMD at the highs, NVIDIA at the lows. You don't hear that too often, but yeah, nowhere to go right now in this market other than lower for NVIDIA. Apple, another call there as well. But SoFi, the one that's really working for us. Another out rate there. We'll continue to watch it out. It's 10:20, so let's go check out what's going on with Adara. SMCI, also another good trade. Neil's in Google and SMCI, so we'll talk about those when we get back from Miss A.
Here's the IWM. Interesting look here. This one, grinding up really nicely pre-market, then dropping along with the rest of the market right off the open. Very consolidated now, pretty much traded in a range for the last, going on 3 15-minute candles. Now, the first name here, not necessarily a small cap, about a $3.5 billion market cap, but it is in the Russell 2000 index. That's Polaris. Mentioned this one earlier, PII. Day one earnings play, unexpected profit, and nice little sales beat, pushing PII to the upside, in addition to that 17% short float. Second small cap name in the list also has a very notable short float, SOAR. This is over 20% short float of under 1 million shares, about 996,000 as far as I could see. Shares of just under 1 million shares. Market cap around $1 million. Volato, they have tried higher in the past, so they're a small cap repeat offender, as we sometimes call them. This one set to acquire M2I Global in a reverse triangular merger between M2I and one of SOAR's wholly owned subsidiaries. Last but not least, STAI. Scantech AI, by far right now looking the strongest of these, breaking to a new high of day, announcing that they're going to be offering technology through the TIPS contract it entered with Creek Source Consulting. Be sure to like and subscribe. Back to you.
I'm very, look, I've looked at mergers ARBs for a long time. I don't even know what a reverse triangular merger is. It just sounds very, very cool, but overly complicated. So you want things to be simple. That doesn't sound simple at all. And that's why the finance bros make so much money, right? Because they can complicate a bunch of things. And they just
trying to confuse us.
Make tons of fees and whatever. Do their
Simpletons.
So look, Google Alphabet just bounced off 193 with a bit of a weird wick into the volume weighted average price, but it was a little bit heavy on the way back up. It broke the prior bar, so the current bar actually opened at 193 and a quarter. That's where I got in. Resistance is obvious here at the $0.50, as you can see, and 94 is a big level on the daily. I think that's its own breakout if it can get there. I don't even know if it has the chance to do so. Novo is getting really close to that break. I'm just going to show you Oops, I got to zoom that in. Nova's getting really close to that break. I'm just taking a break of the open range when it happens, and I'm throwing my stop just underneath the volume weighted average price. This looks like it's starting to gear up for a bit of a rebound play, like kind of like a dead cat bounce. That's the way I'm thinking of this. It's an SSR bounce as well. It's going to be a simple, if we don't get VWAP again, there's now the first trend line on SMCI. Like it's already broken away from that, and you've got a bigger one looming and forming here to the upside. Yikes. If you go overnight, 61.5 was the level in the overnight market. Our thing only starts here at about 6 a.m., but 61.5 is a big spot. So if we lose that level, I jump out and go back into buying the dips on SMCI.
All right, guys, trade the pool, swing trade programs. You can access up to $40,000 in buying power to trade real shares, not just CFDs. You can hold positions overnight, over the weekend, and enjoy limited risk thanks to a one-time evaluation fee. There are no monthly payments. There are no hidden costs. Take Mr. Vicente there, for example, as one of the Trade the Pool swing traders. He's locked in already $23,000 in profits. His top performer is NMAX. He shorted that from April 20th all the way into May 30th. Good trade, and pulled in over $6,700 worth of profits. Trade the Pool is giving swing traders the tools, the time, and the capital to thrive. Please scan the QR code on your screen right now to enjoy that 10% off. So I think that's, if you're interested in it, you know, we had Mitch on earlier. Go check out Trade the Pool, you know, do your own research, have a look into them, and see if you're interested in joining a prop type experience there with many different opportunities based on your likes. So go check out Trade the Pool right now. So, all right, yeah, just waiting around here for a couple more things to pop through. We did talk about what to expect, and here's our events calendar. You can go get this at Trader TV Live research, sorry, at Trader TV Research right now with economic data all coming through. There's the number for Friday. Oh, we don't have, there is, Friday does have the
tariff?
No. Friday is jobs. So we'll wait. We'll get that up there as well. But you know, coming through tonight is where we look for Visa post-market. Starbucks joined myself and Adara tonight as we'll go over all that bookings as well. This morning, SoFi big trade alert. We talked about sort of the downside. We haven't looked at UPS, but Merck this morning as well with a downside play. Spotify rarely goes down on earnings, but today is one of those days where Spotify get to the downside. We'll have a quick check on them. PayPal flirting with that $70 mark as well. Tilray was down 15%, so some of these weed names continue to be a problem. That's for sure. Oh, did it bounce? Okay.
It's only down 13.
Only down 13% right now. Okay, so not too bad there. But we'll look for big names coming through. So what's happening right now in the NASDAQ will definitely have a different feel tomorrow and into Thursday, Friday. Again, as we have on the 30th is the rate cut, which won't be happening. So it will be a flat moment there. We'll trade that, of course, live here. Make sure you join us every single rate cut day. Well, every single day, but it's exciting here because we'll have it live for you. We'll have the Q&As, and Darryl will be glued to the listening of the questioning and answer period. And then Neil and I will try to figure out exactly what's being talked about and how we would analyze those plays.
In September, we had Mitch on this morning.
Yep.
He says he doesn't expect a cut in September.
Right.
If we don't get a cut in September,
wow, Mitch.
That afternoon, I'm trading the Russell because they're toast.
September, yeah.
I think if no September cut, then IWM, assuming it hasn't broken out that resistance that's been there for forever, because IWM has been languishing this entire this entire up move. Really? There we go. Just consolidating, higher lows, can't break. Every time it's like, oh, it's breaking. Nope. It's breaking. Nope. And then right back underneath. So if we don't get the cut, obviously that's not great for small caps because they want lower rates. That's just how it works. This is a name that is going to be traded. Sometimes, a lot of times there's individual names we're looking at or the market. I've seen traders on this floor that prefer gold on Fed days. But IWM, if we don't get that cut, makes sense to me. Google or Alphabet, it doesn't matter how strong you are. The market just broke the lows. So it bounced the first time. Market bounced the first time on the low, so I took the long in here. We bounced or tried to bounce the second time. I took the long in VWAP. The market the NASDAQ, I should say, just broke the lows because I'm looking over and the ES has not. The NASDAQ just broke the lows again and is testing underneath. So we'll see if a lower high can end up holding on Alphabet. Still a relatively strong name, which I like. And I mentioned I would get out if SMCI curled off of the 160, the 61.5 area, not 160, 61.5. It did a bit of a topping tail. I'll jump back into the volume weighted average price if we can get it. Some things remain strong. Hopefully Google can be one of them, but certainly the chips are. Like the two strongest names in the market that we were looking at yesterday that weren't small cappers were AMD and SMCI. That's true of tech, at least today, tech specifically, because the rest of the names are not looking good. Maybe there's some selling off going into all these big earnings this week. Hopefully we can catch a little bit of stability. Worth pointing out that while the market just tested the low, Apple is sustaining its bounce a little bit here. So good for Apple, bouncing off 212.
Yeah, so I actually just double checked it. I haven't looked at my email all day, and it turns out that I did have an order to get out of SoFi. So we're out of some of our SoFi trade. I don't know exactly. I'm going to double check how this is in the long-term account. We had an offer at 24. So we got filled there right away, $24 on SoFi in the PA account. So I'm not sure. I'll have to go double check what percentage of that is. Most likely 30 to 40% of SoFi now out. And I was just sitting there at 24. We put this order out last week as we talked about some of the trades that we were looking for. And we also got filled on Apple earlier. Here, I'm going to find out. Because I got it on the CDR, I'm not sure. Okay, we're going to go to Ordera. I'm going to find out the time I got filled on Apple. That will give me 36 minutes ago. So I'm going to find out what that price was there on Apple 36 minutes ago to give you guys a better idea of exactly where we're in. But let's go over to Ordera for some news.
Keep an eye on Apple. Earlier we heard that they're going to be launching their foldable iPhone. Now we have, it looks like the Wall Street Journal reporting that JP Morgan is near a deal to take over Apple's credit card. So JP Morgan and AAPL, and we'll just pull up JP Morgan's chart for contracts. Again, Wall Street Journal reporting that JP Morgan is in talks to take over Apple's credit card. JPM looking like it has had a little bit of volatility on this story. I want to mention as well, we're still getting comments from Novo Nordisk's new CEO, Mazgar Mike Dustar. He did say that of Novo Nordisk's price drop, he says he doesn't like it. So unclear how that'll change things, but either way, interesting note, getting comments early on from the brand new CEO of NVO. Back to you.
And so thanks for that, Adair, and right on target there. Yeah, it was the two. Remember yesterday I was saying that I thought we had some bids there at 210. It must have been 212. So that's exactly where we got filled there on Apple. Like I said, I traded AAPL CC. Just have more money in the Canadian account than I do in the U.S. account right now. So there's the dip buy. So we're buying it down into here. This is the Canadian CDR. So if you guys are here in Canada, there's a lot of different opportunities to trade these. There's even Walmart has a CC, which is again Canadian CDR. So just like you could trade NTDOY over on the pink sheets, which is Nintendo. NTDOY, there's Adidas, there's a whole bunch of different names that are ADRs. So we have CDRs here brought to you by CBC. We actually had them on the show a couple times, explaining exactly what's up with that. But okay, so the big runner here today, SoFi. I know a lot of you are talking about this, man, a very, very popular name coming through. They beat early on earnings. They beat on expected guide moving forward. So top and bottom beat their earnings and sales. Then they guide ahead by a couple pennies. SoFi continues to be that move higher. It's not like super exciting right now, only up 16% only, but that move happened early, and now it's just trying to get its base. I think a hold of VWAP makes a lot of sense there for SoFi. Eli Lilly catching some down drifts there by Wegovy and Novo Nordisk, looking for some of their expectations, maybe pulling back down for that drug. So Ozempic and so on and so forth. Again, lots of competition in this space. I still think Eli Lilly is the leader there, and the down 4% may be worth a little bit of a buy. If you're so inclined to. You're down through the 50-period moving average. And, I last bought at 750, right into here, had a nice move up. And then it's these levels down here around 700 that look pretty good for Eli Lilly. So with no more economic numbers coming today, I'm not really sure what this market wants to do. We do have President Trump, been speaking. He'll be speaking later, I assume, as well. So that could always move around. No real bump up yesterday from that EU deal. No. And today it's kind of flat again. So although the Nasdaq still remains higher, man, the story's still intact.
You know what's interesting?
Rates haven't changed.
Is that when you see the when I was thinking about that PayPal move to the downside, JP Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan.
Oh, yeah, what did
he was talking more about the free banking rule, and he doubled down on talking about how much waste there is with all the extra pings that they're getting from all these middlemen, because it's like it was over 80% of the pings that they're getting for data requests don't even involve their customers making a transaction, and they go, that's wasted, and it's mostly because of Plaid. Like half of it was Plaid, but obviously other of the fintech names. So this whole pay for data thing, he's doubling down on that, and that could happen. That you could see a change, and it would be effect that it's going to affect different fintech names, like Affirm. It's not going to have the same effect as like a PayPal. It's not going to have the same effect as Plaid, but they could all be paying a little bit of extra money for the data, which they do absolutely need. So just keep an eye on that, because maybe that's weighing a little bit on some fintech names that are not SoFi. As we go over to Adara, it's 10:30.
Already.
And I look up, and Bitcoin is exactly at 118. It's always at 118.
Yeah, get going.
It's not our crypto. We now do our crypto segment at 11:30 a.m. during the midday, so definitely stay tuned for that. 11:30 a.m. crypto segment. It's been, I think, a couple of weeks now we've been doing that. For now, though, I did want to touch on, I know we had Sean just mentioning if Trump is speaking today, there are two opportunities he has to speak today. Only one of them is actually during market hours, though. 11 a.m., he's going to be leaving Scotland on his way to the White House. So 11 a.m. our time, 4 p.m. local time. So 11 a.m. we might get some comments from Trump. The other opportunity he has to speak is when he arrives back at the White House. But that's at 7. Some comments from Trump. The other opportunity he has to speak is when he arrives back at the White House. But that's at 7:20.
Because this platform allows you to trade smarter, test your ideas out before you implement them by back testing, reliable, customizable charting platform with the ability to execute trades in real time with multiple brokers. So over 30 brokers that you can connect to. You're going to have level 2 access. You can watch the quotes as they stream through. And again, it's really just about the reliability. We never really see them go down. I can't remember the last time they went down. Our internet will go down, and obviously you have to be able to connect. But that's about the only thing that we ever have to worry about. And at the end of the day, it's a month free. So if you don't like it, you don't keep it. If it does help your trading, then great, fantastic, and good luck to you. But as far as I can tell, there's never really a downside to having more tools at your disposal to try to refine your trading strategies. And I think eSignal is a fantastic platform for that. Scan the QR code you see out in front of you right now, and take advantage of 1 month free over at eSignal. We want to shout out to them. Not going to shout out to the third time not being a charm, well, second time not being a charm on Alphabet. This is now loss of volume weighted average price. It was strong, and it's still green on the day, but you just lost that support. We got one bounce, and now you're starting to head back into the downside. I mean, now we'll go back over, let's see what SMCI is doing. Didn't get to the volume weighted average price on that dip, which is, of course, a bit of a moving target. So if it gets to that order now, it would be under VWAP. I'll let it play back in. See if it wants to get back into the 60.5 before we get the reload on SMCI. Novo does not want to make that breakout that I'm waiting for. It's still going, I didn't think it would go sideways forever, but it's picking down. I wanted it to break resistance, and then we'd look for like a little bit of a long play. Instead, Novo Nordisk headed firmly. Well, it's down 21%, so I can't say firmly to the downside. Going 50 cents on this stock when it's down 14 bucks, it's not that much of a move, but still 1 point to the downside here. As long as it's close and inside this consolidation, I will keep the breakout order in. If it loses about 54.5 and it's $1 away, I'll cancel the order. I'm not willing to chase. If it goes more than $1 into a breakout, I don't want to take the breakout. Well, I still have the order in. We'll see if Novo ends up getting traded today. I have the suspicion that it might not. PayPal was another name on earnings. Didn't seem all that bad. But at the end of the day, it's trending to the downside on PayPal. And unfortunately, as I said, maybe there is some rub off on some of the fintech names, just the payment processors getting dinged by Jamie Dimon's comments, or maybe I'm just reading too much into that and thinking for a reason for this to be down 9% when the earnings didn't feel that bad. That said, $70 is still the area that I want to wait for the bounce. We're not there just yet, so I guess we got to be patient with it. And Gurov in the chat, you were right about this. I know we've been mentioning basically AMD and SMCI, but they're not alone. Micron's having a very good day as well. Micron up a couple of points. It's good for them. This one might be breaking this downward trend that it's been on. Ooh, that's a good breakout on Micron. Great catch, Gorev. If I got that wrong, you let me know. Let's go back over to Adara, and I got to find an entry on Micron. That's a good break.
Speaking of chips, I'm actually just seeing commentary coming through from AMD. This is, I guess, reported by TechRadar and Bloomberg. CEO Lisa Su of AMD apparently saying that the chips made at TSM's or Taiwan Semi's U.S. plant are going to cost 5 to 20% more than those made in Taiwan, but she's also calling it a necessary trade-off to improve their supply chain resiliency. They're also expecting the first U.S.-made chips later this year. We also have some commentary coming from Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg, saying that apparently the company has reduced its travel to work by 50% and that their 7779 model will be certified next year by 2026. So some seemingly optimistic commentary coming from the Boeing's earnings call. Let's take a look at this sector board, which is a little bit influenced by earnings today. We do have UPS dragging out the transportation sector along with Uber. Uber not down on earnings, though. Uber's actually dropping lower. After we did have Waymo now expanding with Dallas, except they're not partnering with Uber, they're partnering with Avis this time. Keep an eye on health services, UNH, another earnings name, very weak, though it's not really impacting the rest of its sector. Distribution to the downside, utilities red, consumer non-durables red, health technologies red, green, except for two sympathy plays. We do have Eli Lilly to the downside after that Novo Nordisk guidance cut, MRK down here on earnings. Finance a little bit mixed. We do have technology services pretty much flat across the board, though. Cadence Design up 10% almost on earnings. And then we have electronic technology. This is really being led by these chip names, NVIDIA, Broadcom, AMD strong. Apple, despite a couple interesting catalysts, including a foldable iPhone launch, relatively red, where Boeing is down on earnings day one. Back to you.
Thanks. Thank you, Adara. And that is a lot. And if you think there's a lot going on today, then wait till we get tomorrow, of course, with the Fed and just a host of earnings. It's the biggest by market cap earnings week. Most of it, I think we were looking at it. We kind of decided that I think Thursday might have a little bit more in terms of market cap, but it's very, very close.
Yeah, we think so. But
Microsoft's so big on Wednesday that maybe they win. That said, I'm going to change the plan of action on PayPal, because this is an all-morning trend to the downside. So instead of waiting for 70, I was eyeballing it. I'm like, holy, really? Since the pre-market, it's held the exact same trend line, and now it's consolidating right at the bottom with a 71.20 low. This could break out almost a $0.50, be breaking this trend with $1 and change to the volume-weighted average price. So if we hold this low, close above the trend line, I'm just connecting the dots from here to all that. It's kind of easy to see on a 3-minute chart. If we can hold this and break 71.5, I'm going to go long in PayPal. I didn't really think their earnings were that bad, but that's nothing to do with this. It's really more just a technical trade. As if someone's buying this at 71, and if they can start to win the battle, I'm going to take this little local breakout.
Yeah, what's up? Thanks, Adara, for all those recaps there, of course. But wow. Talk about AMD and talk about like stocks not wanting. I know we're talking about the same name here, but that story just came through with AMD. Their higher prices. What? I mean, AMD right now 182. And still going higher, up another 5% for advanced micro devices. This name just keeps on ripping and keeps on working out. So nice move there for AMD again. Just absolutely huge. We thought we missed this trade. We're long at 178. It's now $4. That might have been $5. Right there in the money. So there it goes right now. And then, not executing today is the name of my game, because right into there it is right there. Uber with the 88 short, we don't have it. And then the AMD break long, fine. Amazon, we've been wrong. Let's talk about Amazon. We just got hit on that again. So I don't know why Amazon continues to go lower here, but we tried 231, it broke. So there we're out of Amazon. So we were able to make something back into there, but it kept on bouncing off the 50 period. I should have been a little bit more cautious of that trade and maybe even just gone short right there. With the market holding, I thought there was a chance for us to go back upside, but not all stocks are the same. That is for sure, as you look at that monster there that is Advanced Micro Devices. Palantir gets back to green right now, but still fading off of the VWAP area. So we're still underneath its volume weighted average price, which of course lets you know if the bears or bulls are winning right now. It looks like bears winning here on PLTR, as that's trying to get underneath VWAP and stay there. It's under there now, but we'll see if it does stay. We got that story about Apple and JP Morgan. That doesn't really matter in the long run, because I think it was Goldman Sachs was with that before, and right now, whoever's taking over the credit card business, maybe it's not a great one, so that's potentially a negative catalyst for Apple there today. So coming back in, they're reporting on Thursday. We'll wait to see what happens with Apple, and then not too much pull through there on JP Morgan either. If anything, that's downside right now for JPM. So pretty good move there. NVIDIA, we loaded a little bit down there at 178.50 and change as well. But, today's big stories, again, Merck with a miss on earnings and a nice little move to the downside there, but gathering itself back up, trying to take out pre-market highs is Merck. SoFi had a very big beat there as well. Right now, Bitcoin 18,303, because we just found out that the crypto moment is 11:30. Let me just go over some crypto names right now with you just quickly. Bitcoin 118.2, we talked about that already. Ripple XRP not doing too much, down 11% over the week, down 1% right there. Solana 181. Let me just hit refresh to make sure. Sometimes I refresh it, it doesn't. Yeah, okay, so I did. 181.50 there on Cardano. There it is, on Solana. Dogecoin 22. We have Obi coming through in a couple minutes as well. And then there it is, Cardano, 78 cents. And, not much going on. We talked about it being near that $4 trillion mark. We're still bouncing around there as well in the crypto space. So far so good, but it was ETHA, right? I mean, that was the big runner as of late with that Genius Act getting passed a couple weeks ago. And all these stable coins basically getting that stamp of approval. They're being built over here. Ethereum, Solana, so some of those smart contract plays continue to be talked about there, but a nice pullback on Ethereum today, maybe giving you an opportunity to buy something. 28 looked like a good breakout level, so maybe if we can get back into that level.
Still hunting 4,000.
For ETH, could be something there. Yeah, still looking at 4,000, right? 3,800 or so.
I feel like everyone's going to want that breakout when it gets there, and we're back above that 38. Like that 4,000, remember, if you're looking at ETH, that 4,000 level has been breached several times, and the top has been above 41. So there's like a scalp. The day that we get there, there's a scalp trade when it breaks 4,000 just for that first move, and then maybe you can look for the continuation after the fact, but that's an after the fact type of thing. I was just looking over some of the crypto adjacent names and running through, because, well, PayPal is very close to breaking trend, and we're looking to still dip by SMCI. But looking on over, Robinhood, this is pretty distinct. Check out 105. We always talk about liking close prices more than open prices in terms of frames of reference. Well, if you close at 105 and then hold 105 and then hold 105, I think this level matters. So watch out. If we get another dip, the market's trending down, so I think you want to give it a chance to maybe play off that 105 again on Robinhood. There's still always the story. This could have some pull up. It's getting a bit of a bounce maybe because SoFi has been strong. But this is down today, down 0.5% into a market that's very slightly up. So there's still that sort of how far this is run and not getting the S&P 500. But fintech has been hot, and when they catch a bottom, I think you want to respect it. And I like the fact that it's holding the 105. This could be headed right back for another test of its all-time high. But for first things first, look for that 105 level. All right, now PayPal, which had those earnings, disappointment. It's closed above the trend line, and it's breaking the prior bar. So if it loses 71, I think that's an easy out here, and we'll play it back into the volume weighted average price. As PayPal did tick, I believe, very close to 10% down, if not getting almost exactly towards it. But we're going to play for a little bit of a bounce play. It's just wild because it didn't seem like it was all that bad for PayPal. If you looked at their full year 25 guidance, it beat. The estimate was like 509, and it was like 515 to 530. Like the midpoint there is like 22. That was a solid beat to me.
Yeah,
But
I don't know why. I was
You know,
not expecting that down.
Yeah, like again, but if it's down 10%, it's down 10%. So we can speculate about what it should be doing. At the end of the day, I'm taking this bounce because it's breaking the trend, not because I think it has to go up based on the earnings. If you get into that mentality that the price action has to fit your perception of the fundamentals, then the market's going to punish you a lot. Let's be real. Because what would you have done with Google the last couple of days? You'd be going along like every single day, and it would have been frustrating for you. So you got to find the opportunities out there. This is hopefully a dead cat bounce.
What the hell's going on with Fannie Mae?
No, I
and
shouldn't
Freddie
use that. I
Mac?
shouldn't use that term. What the heck?
Yeah, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac
there's
just
gotta be a
continue to
story.
rip like this. I haven't
gotta be
traded
a
this
story.
at all today. Just straight upside right now on Fannie Mae
checking.
right now. I checked. I didn't see anything, so we'll wait to see what's going on. But
we
there
have
goes
Jeff
Fannie
today?
Mae straight up 20% right now to the north side goes Fannie. You can check out its brother Freddie right there as well. Same kind of a reaction play right now to Fannie and to Freddie. So, you know, we've talked about, President Trump has talked about releasing some of these back in as an equity out of the public hands. So we'll wait to see what happens with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. But right now, of course, as soon as I talk about it, it looks like it's trying to pull back. But straight up 18% today, Fannie Mae. Nice move. So wowzers on that one. Yeah, if you are trying to buy a dip there, Amazon, I mean, again, I like the stock, but we are ahead of earnings right now. There goes NVIDIA, by the way, just got smoked to the downside, breaking 178. We tried it again right there. Quick hitters, though, right? There goes breaking through. 178 goes for NVIDIA. So with 10 minutes left, we'll get to money talks, I guess, in a couple seconds. But right now, there goes NVIDIA to the downside. Fannie Mae is the one that I'm interested in to find out what's going on with that. But again, watch out. It's a over-the-counter over-the-counter stock there, OTC markets, over with pink sheets. So your broker may or may not have access, most likely does. Watch out there, Fannie Mae up 18%. That NVIDIA and Amazon just kept going to the downside today, man. Crazy stuff. What was sometimes strong can be weak, and today are one of those days. All right, only 8 minutes left for the midday show, but let's go over and see what Adair has to talk about.
Great push up here for the U.S. dollar. I've been saying for I guess a while now, what we really need to see this change in this trend is to make a higher high in the U.S. dollar daily chart. And congrats to the DXY because we just did. We finally broke above that 99-ish lower high that we had made. This is, I guess, going back to about a month ago, mid-July. Now we're above 99. Now the next higher low, I guess, or higher high that we need to make would be that 99. This is about 99.4. Let's see if we can do it because the DXY is now on a 4-day winning streak, and these last two candles are especially strong. I did not find anything on Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. I do want to mention I immediately checked Bill Pulte's X account. He's the person who leads Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. He has not posted in days, but it is worth noting, which I guess 14 hours ago was his last post. Bill Pulte, who leads Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, is very much opposed to Fed Chair Powell, so he's certainly keep an eye on these with regards to the interest rate. He's even said that it's in the best interest of both if we get an interest rate cut. Again, still no news specifically on Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, but it's always worth checking Bill Pulte's X account if those move because he does lead and he's very, very active on X. I am seeing about 97% chance here that we're not going to get any rate cut in July. So tomorrow's meeting seems like a lock. We're going to get a hold. However, heading forward to September, we are now seeing 64% chance of a cut. So that 25 basis point cut looks more and more likely in September. Back to you. I'll let you guys know if I see anything in May.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac just doing their little dance right now for sure. So, yeah, the NASDAQ, it's just too bad, man, because we had some good shorts there. We had Uber earlier was our only short idea. Now the NASDAQ's trying to break lower as well. Everything's giving it up, right? NVIDIA's not going high today. AMD's pulling back right now. So, yeah, lots of stuff to talk about for upside, but today it looks like some downside plays also hitting the market.
SMCI just got hit hard.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like a lot of these names are going to come down. I think we'll probably reverse maybe into a short right now on the TQQ. So let's pay attention to that. Let's try to get it. Okay, so we just took it a little late there on this break lower. Let's see if we get something breaking through $90.40. Right now, we're going to switch over into the short as just so many names are falling back in right now. So we'll short the NASDAQ and see if it wants to work itself out. But for right now, AMD, we could probably wind up getting out of that one. And SoFi, we're pretty light on this. Let's just get out of everything here. There we go. We're out of SoFi at 15, so that's the end of that one. Good trade for us. That's my number one stock, obviously, there. SoFi here today for obvious reasons, as it seems pretty strong. So we'll watch out for SoFi trying to go through right now, but that's out. And then AMD coming through again very, very soon. We'll get out on a 50-period break right now, 180.50. What's up, Adara?
I just want to let you guys know we did this move down in the market, breaking a new low. This does look a little bit technical, but it's worth noting as well. We did just have some commentary coming from the chief economist of the IMF, or the International Monetary Fund, saying that there's little chance of fixing the U.S. trade deficit via tariffs. Well, we know that that is one of the primary reasons President Donald Trump has given for putting these tariffs in place in the first place. So basically, again, just to recap, IMF chief economist saying that, contrary to opinion here of the administration, there's actually very little chance of fixing the trade deficit using tariffs. Back to you.
So just thank you very much, Adara. Just as that was happening, I looked over and I'm like, what can I short that wasn't part of the plan? And the only thing that came to mind was, let me pull up Intel, because it's not strong with the rest of the chips in the first place. It had these wicks, the pre-market low, $20.67. So I just instantly punch short because I can risk to that high. So that's the plan. Risk to these wick highs and then see if this one can get underneath VWAP, back down into the low of the day. It gives me something which fundamentally is weak, but if the market continues to fall, I can join part of the party. What's interesting is right when the market was making that breakdown, that was the moment that PayPal started to work back after that trend break. So this is a little bit different. There's your trend break. I'm trying to get it to go to the volume weighted average price. My next offer is at the 72 level, and then at VWAP, if this one can continue to show some pep in its step after a disappointing move on those earnings. Dom says, are we buying Novo? I was only willing to buy Novo on momentum. So like I get it. It's trying to bounce here, and look, Novo was a $69 stock that broke $50 and has been going sideways. So it feels like maybe it's made a bit of a bottom, but I want it when it breaks out above the volume weighted average price. I still have my order in. It kind of got below 54, but it's back above. So my order is just going to stay there. I'm going to take that breakout when it happens. And when it comes to the long term, all I got to say for Novo is on the weekly chart, it's mind-boggling to me, but when this whole GLP race started back in, it really started going in late 2022, it's almost back to the bottoms from back then. Like if you pull up a chart of Eli Lilly, kind of eyeball that same place like October on that chart, like Eli Lilly was in the 300s. It's still at 770. Novo's all the way back. So I get it, everyone is trying to catch a bottom, but the only chart that comes to mind, the first thing I thought about is this reminds me of NVIDIA and SMCI. When SMCI gave everything back and NVIDIA was just fine on the dip, that's what these two felt like. And which one was it better to be in on the dip? A lot more comfortable being in NVIDIA until SMCI showed some better signs of life. So that's the parallel that I'm going to be thinking about. It is crazy to me that it's gotten this bad for Novo, but this is exactly why momentum matters. And forget about momentum. This is why best of breed matters. Right. Momentum matters too, but this is why best of breed matters, I think, a heck of a lot more. And sometimes it's a small deal, like battling between Palo Alto and, say, CrowdStrike. And other times it's a monster deal. If you've been holding on to Novo thinking it's going to catch up relative to Eli Lilly, you've just been getting continually punished. Maybe we catch a bounce, but it'll be a dead cat bounce. The winner in this space is being determined every single day, and the price action is telling you who it is. Are we listening is the real question.
What is the answer to that question?
It's Eli Lilly, man.
No, I know. I just wanted to see when they were reporting.
Candidly speaking, I own shares of Eli Lilly is my biggest non-tech holding, so I should say that because clearly that rant is self-serving.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's true.
But I do believe it. That's ridiculous what Novo has done. Yep. Ridiculous.
Yep, agreed. Okay, so Right now, yeah, I just want to see Eli Lilly does report in 9 days on Thursday, August the 7th. So we'll see if they're also suffering similar fate there with Ozempic or whatever their drug is there, and obviously getting hit today, as Neil just mentioned. I just want to double check when their report was imminent, and it's 9 days, so we still have a little bit of time on that one. We shorted the Qs and were able to get something out right there, so we were short. This is our price, 20s. Our best fill is 11s right there. We'll see if it can come back in. I was going to give this up to basically the 50-period moving average. We really, ever since we broke this, it's been downside right now, so I don't know, trying to play some momentum. We've gotten hit. They're trying to go long on NVIDIA. That's downside. We got hit trying to go long on Amazon. That's been downside. We bought in our PA today. By the way, Sharif, we bought some more Apple in our portfolio today down here at 212 just before earnings. You know, we made a play on Marvell just before earnings as well. That turned out okay, although it bled through about 5% against us. Now all the way back up to the upside. We're long Marvell. 65s, I think it was. Yeah, it must have been there, 65. Yeah, right into here. And then earnings happened, and we went down into 60, right? And then now up, okay? So Marvell's still working out for us there. A name that we hadn't looked at today, although it's 11 o'clock right now, Big Bear AI. I know Sharif and, I was about to say Joe, but it's Obi today, will be on this tip with Big Bear AI and some of the low float names. But yeah, man, we got out of AMD right there as that fell through, so we're out of that one. We're out of SoFi. So my only two winners today, we'll go 50-50, but be red on the day, pending, of course, this Q's position. But SoFi was a winner, AMD was a winner, the big loser, and we lost more on Amazon than we won on our biggest winner, which was AMD. So down today, Amazon continues to make that move lower as well. So, that's what it is right here. Anything you want to talk about before we get going there? No?
Oh, I did want to mention, well, there were a couple of things I was going to mention. One, someone just said UNH is starting to go, so I pulled that one up. That's looking relatively strong, but it's Google. As the market is bouncing off the lows, Alphabet is about to break the high.
Yeah, some of these.
So yeah, that was a failed dip into the volume-weighted average price. VWAP's just a line on a chart. It doesn't always hold, and ultimately the fail would be that it's holding the trend. This is holding the trend from the open. So that means regardless of the result of the last dip buy, I'm going to buy back into this trend on Google. This is your strong non-chip Mag 7. Well, your strong tech name that isn't it's a strong name that's not fintech or like a chip. So super good day for Alphabet, but I wish I was still in it. I'll be buying the dip into 193, which happens to be the volume-weighted average price. We'll be back at 2 o'clock, but you got oh boy Obi.
Oh boy.
And the professor. Go get him, gentlemen.
Oh,
we didn't.
we didn't do what's for lunch. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, we'll see what it is.
Let the boys do it.
I don't recall seeing the menu.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That is your boy, Obi. He is the one. He is the one, guys. Kenobi. And I'm Sharif. And where are all the people at, baby? There we go. Let's shut them out. We got the OG Darwin, Cisco, Zolo. We got Juan Padilla and Pranat. Sure. Mike Hamilton, Trader Wannabe, Richard Nickel. Richard Nickel? Isn't that the dude in The Fugitive? Come on now. AT. Say it again? Richard Kimball. My good call, Neil. Good call. Sid Gudiori. Charles Moe, Brown Lightning, Sir David of Smooshala. Shout out to Gen AI Apps, Marius Colossus, Trader Forever, Mike PD Rider. We got Shadow S7, 7S7. We got Grey Worm. Maybe Wink, okay. Kelvin Brooks, Zach Cordado, grateful for Bitcoin. Shout out to Alexander Emard, Mike, the Stock Impaler, Arnold Clark. We got James Dell, baby. Angel Fonesca, probably butchered that. Kelvin Brooks, Alvaro, Mario Sosa, Stuart, RTJ, Ed Miller. Unconquered 82. I like that number. Obviously, I have an affinity for 82, having been born in said year. So I seem to have an affinity for everything related to me, which is kind of Okay, I'll let you guys figure that one out. But yeah, that's the situation right now. I'm involved in 2 small cap gappers. Let's start with the first one, SGD. What a hold off the volume weighted average price. We're in at 41s, I believe, and then we've scalped up basically into 49. This one is having trouble with 50, so be on the lookout for that. I'm also involved in this one. What's it called? Where is it at over here? There we go. Finally, we get the ad on STAI. I'm looking for this one to hold the volume weighted average price. I added at 27s because I saw the double bottom at 25s. So it's going to have to hold up that VWAP. I've got an order actually at the volume weighted average price, which I probably should move up if I'm looking to run into that level. So let's put some orders now that we've got the ad over here. We'll throw some at the third of a dollar, and then we'll layer a little bit above that. So we'll keep an eye on STAI, but if STAI loses VWAP, that it will be the end of the trade. I will not be dollar cost averaging into an oblivion into this one below VWAP. So that will be my look there. And then I'm still also holding SGD. So Obe's getting set up. He's having some issues with his computer. He'll be on momentarily. So we'll talk about these small cap gappers until my man Obe is ready. Shout out to everybody in the chat, keeping an eye on these small cap gappers. It feels like a light bunch today, but there are some running. I'm talking about FMST. That one is breaking out into that $3 area, as well as Repel. So I've mentioned STAI to you guys, as well as what's it called, SGD, but I really wanted to focus as well on these ones. REPL looks like it wants to take out 4. It's got good volume under its belt. Each of these 5-minute candles almost has 1 million shares each, so that's plenty of volume there. FMST, not the same look, okay? It doesn't have the same type of volume profile, but it's got good strength in the price action, and it's also been quite respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, of which I base a lot of my trades. So that's what I'll be keeping my eye on right now. There were others, as you saw there, NEGG, NEG, having a good day as well. It had a good day yesterday, but NEG is too expensive and very spready, so likely will not be touching that. Shout out to VCIG as well, holding VWAP, trying to take out we're trying to hold that pre-market area consolidation. We'll see if it ends up making another move to the high side. Then VT. This one, I was really grasping at straws when I picked this one, but we'll keep an eye on it. If it can take out 7 1/4, we'll be involved, but otherwise we'll be focusing on these ones. So STAI is going to have to decide whether it wants to hold this $250 area where it has a double bottom prior, or whether it wants to make a deeper retracement in a VWAP. We got 32s on at the moment. It's showing me 27s, 28s now on the level 2. I'm not going to wet the beak until about the third of a dollar. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on there. And then SGD, we're having trouble with the $0.5. Let's see if this holds the area. Oh, let me know when you're.
Yeah, I mean, the P Pro's having P8. I think it was just connection issues, but yeah, what's going on, guys? I can still see the chat. I still have some of my charts that are working, but yeah, absolutely crazy morning.
Yes, sir.
For me, Sharif.
Absolutely.
I was fighting the trend a little bit on AMD. Funny enough, I get off of my desk, and that's when the reversion comes in. GG's on that one, reverting right back to VWAP right here. I think I tried a little bit here, kept it tight, stopped out, and then you can see how strong AMD was. Another day where we gap up and continue. So gap up day 2 on this one. Take a look at this on the daily chart. And you'll see, again, you were talking about how aggressively strong AMD has been, a little bit of a laggard when it comes to chips pushing for their all-time highs. Now, we know that NVIDIA's been printing a fresh high almost every day. AMD is kind of on its way to catch up right now, but you can see back-to-back gap-up days right now. You can see 1, 2, I guess today's 2, where you cleanly gap up above prior day's price. As of right now, high day is at 182. But yeah, trying a little bit to not get that FOMO, as the short off of, I guess, 181s, 182s was quite nice. But like I said before, I tried it a couple times here. We can go to the 1-minute chart to give it a better perspective. I tried it once here. I tried it once here. Caught a little piece. But yeah, didn't really try again for the third time, and that's when we get that reversion all the way back to the mean, which is VWAP coming in at 179.22. So, oh boy, what a crazy strong stock today. It actually pushed over 1 ATR off of the open, and I was like, all right, well, this is my definition of a little overextended, so I'm going to look for reasons to sell. The long, of course, was one of the main trades, as it did the same thing as yesterday, breaking out of pre-market highs. Look at that yesterday as well, breaking out of pre-market highs, strong continuation, holding VWAP, holding structures with some of these lows back to back, and you can see more of the same right off of the open. But yeah, I was looking for a breather, and oh boy, did we breathe all the way back down to VWAP. We'll be right back. What's up, Adara?
So to let you guys know, but ETOR, the market not seeming to care too much, but keep an eye on eToro Group. Apparently, the company is set to launch tokenized U.S. stocks on the Ethereum blockchain, very similar to what we know Robinhood is doing as well. These tokenized stocks looks like, again, eToro doing the same thing. They're going to be launched on the Ethereum blockchain. Back to you.
All right, Obed, just got to cover this because it's breaking out and it's time sensitive. HWH is absolutely flying. Shout out again. Once again, to my other pair of eyes, Bhavin Patel in the chat, keep your eyes out on his calls. HWH, 60% at the day high, 237 day high right now. It's a trade de novo, meaning the volume just started coming in. The largest volume bar is now, this candle. The previous volume bar, had about 1 million shares, but this one's got over 3 million right now. So a lot of volume seeing this, or a lot of eyes seeing this, and as a result, a lot of volume coming in, but it is extended here, well away from the 10, well away from VWAP. It's clearing that $2 level like it doesn't even matter. I mean, it blew past 2.25. It's obviously clear 2/3 at 237. Here we go again, attempting that high day break, and there it is. Oh, we break the high, the day into 240 we go. So keep your eye out on HWH. I'm just flipping to my 5-second chart here so I can kind of get a better look. So it does seem to be finding some support here with higher highs and higher lows. Generally on the 5-second chart, anyway, on the 20 exponential. Now I know that, you know, whenever Algo's trading this is likely not basing anything on the 5-second chart. The reason I use it is I'm looking for areas of support and resistance as well as when the micro pullbacks manifest. So it's a 244 high right now, great strength right now in HWH. Be careful trading this, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, be careful trading some of those. When stuff gets parabolic, you really have to watch out for some of those extensions, because you know when players start getting squeezed.
Oh yeah.
AMD had a little bit of a squeeze. Honestly, like I was telling Sharif, this thing was moving like a small cap at times. You can see how it wicked this 180 multiple times. Aggressive bids, aggressive sells back to back. But overall, you can see that the trend has held in the morning session pretty well. So something I like to do, or I should be doing, is taking a step back when that price action gets so aggressive and maybe throwing on a moving average on a higher time frame, maybe looking at structure. We were holding higher highs and higher lows as well, and we got that extension. Like, look at this little flag. I know you like the flags. Look at this build up, flat top break roughly here, and it starts to grind trend all the way up to 182s. Now holding VWAP as of right now. Some of the other names that I was looking for today were earnings names, and SoFi, absolute madness off of the open as it just teleported 30, 40, 50 pennies at a time, just straight up to 25, and a bit of a false break of the $25 level. Since then, we've basically been chopping around and reverted all the way back down to VWAP. Has not done anything aggressive since that opening drive push. So yeah, SoFi, maybe one to continue watching, but the move was definitely in the morning. Novo Nordisk, I don't know if you've seen this one, Sharif,
I did.
but yeah, losing a little bit of fat on the way down. You know what I mean? It's dropping a couple pounds, because apparently those GLPs are not selling as much anymore. So I don't know. Holding VWAP as of right now, so sellers definitely in charge. 69.18 was that, or 69s was that reference price before the news came out, and then we got a strong quadunk all the way down to $50 with a low of 49.38. Since then, a little bit of a recovery, nice little reversion to VWAP after an overextension to the downside, but that came in the pre-market. I like the hold of VWAP as of right now, but still kind of sideways. VWAP was in and around 55 earlier, currently at 54.90. We're trading 54, so nothing too crazy as well. I think there was another one, Celestica. Celestica was pushing all-time highs, if I remember correctly, and oh boy, what a trend on this one, holding structures, higher highs and higher lows on Celestica. If you've seen this on the weekly, Sharif, absolute strength on this one.
Crazy.
Look at this right here. Over the years, yeah, this is one of those stocks that stocks only go up. This is a perfect example of one of those. Celestica coming in pretty strong to the upside on the day today. So let me know what you guys are trading. Did you guys trade any earnings names today? I know we're in the midst of earnings season and things are going absolutely crazy. Some of these earnings names, mid to large caps going crazy, small caps as well. It is market season.
It is, Ob, and it's a storm of prints right now on HWH, guys. We're in literally at the bottom of this candle here at 223. 224. I've scalped up all the way up into 245. The high of the day is 245 on the dot. Now I'm posting up at 49, 54s, and then in the high 50s. And here we go again. Here comes 45. There it goes. We take out 45. We can't take out the $0.50. The selling is too aggressive. So look out for the $0.50 break now and a squeeze above said $0.50. 48 showing up again as a clear area of resistance. So we can't shake the whole dollar seller, the $0.50 seller at the moment. HWH on that good stuff, guys. Be on the lookout here for the squeeze. And there it is. Oh, we take out the $0.50. It is 53s. I still went unprinted. I'm waiting at 54s. There it is. Oh, we take that one out. Here comes 59 again on HWH. Not again, sorry. Here comes again, but the new level. And there it goes. Oh, we take it out again. All right, now we're setting up at 64. How many shares do I have left? No, I don't want to take it. I don't want to take out 64. Let this one run. All right, so let's see what we can get here with HWH. Also doing it freaking live on the, where is it? Show yourself. SGD as well. Where are we in? We're in at 41s. We scalped up all the way up into 59. It is coming back down into the 10 exponential moving average. Let's see if this is an ad spot. Now, SGD did initially have support at VWAP. Now, do we get a 10 EMA support now that we're substantially farther from VWAP? I don't want to add here if I'm not right in adding. So I'm a little concerned with how to play this. So I'm just thinking out loud right now. So SGD coming into the 10 EMA. I'm going to let this one cook for a little bit. I can decide after. All right, let's go back over here. There it goes again. HWH into 69. I'm just going to post at 69. We get it at 69. Fantastic. We don't. That's fine. And here's 67s. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see if we can get it a little bit higher over here. Not quite yet on HWH. Shout out to Bovin, man. Bovin, I didn't have eyes on this one. Thanks for calling it out. So we'll keep an eye here on HWH. It's a 67 penny high at the moment, but turning back a little bit. Let me go back now to my SGD trade as it's coming back into the volume weighted average price. We're actually, I have a resting order. So we're out of the money right now by about a penny or two on the remaining amount on SGD. I'm going to leave this order active. We have higher lows. So that's what keeps me optimistic that HGD maintains its level. Last, my resting order here was at 34s, and that's an old level. Well, actually, it's not old. VWAP is 32, so this is not entirely wrong right here, but it didn't make its way down. So we don't get the ad. We don't get the ad. Now I can add now. I'm going to add, Ope. I'm going to add. I mean, if I don't add here, then what am I doing, right? So we're adding there. And come what may, if I end up losing money on it, I end up losing money on it. But I'm going to add if I saw what I saw. So let's go ahead and put some profit takers. Now we have the same cost basis because we added at literally the same spot. So we'll go ahead and wait at 45s, and then we'll layer as well into some higher 40s there. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now, SGD. Let's go back again, though, to my other friend here, HWH. Here we go again with 60. Now there's a seller at the 10 penny level at 60. Can't shake them. Let me just have a look at the 5-second chart. We're putting in lower highs. And we have been since basically almost 11.16. 11.16 kind of was a turning point, and now we're putting aggressively lower highs on HWH. We just lost trend a little bit. I'm looking at the 5. So let's be on the lookout for that. Let's see if it ends up holding trend or what its situation is. We'll let OB set up. on his system, and we'll keep going over here. I see Repel above it. I've had Repel on basically since we started the show. REPL, it's up 23 1/3%. It's a few pennies off the day's high, 397. It feels like a 4-seller. It lost the 10 EMA here very briefly, and then ended up closing above it. So it did wick into 370, held VWAP, and then rocketing back up here into the mid-90s, mid-90s on REPL. So this one propelling to the high side here. So we'll keep tabs on that. Let's move back into SGG to see if this ad was the right thing to do. So far, it's holding the 10, but it's not rocketing up with the same vigor that it had before. So yeah, we'll keep tabs on this one, and we'll see what we get there. Yes, all right. Just tag me in the chat, guys, if you're looking at anything specific to the small cap gappers. If it's not small cap gapper related, I'm just not interested, and you're going to have to ask Obi when he's ready. So I do apologize about that, but I won't be looking at any non-small cap gappers. Here we go. Back to HWH here. Still having trouble with the low 60s, low mid 60s, but we shook that 60 seller at least for the moment. Now showing me 62s, 63, 64, 66. Here we go, 67. We can't shake that 67 seller. 69, boom, into 69 again. Get it, man. There we go. So we're going to drop the cap. We're going to spin the damn money. That's what we're going to do. HWH got that good stuff. Shout out to Bovin. Keeping my eye on this one now, setting up for the next trade. What's the next level on this? VWAP showing itself here at $2.30. Keep your eye on a retracement into VWAP. Now, we have a bit of an anomaly happening right now with HWH. What is said anomaly? Where the volume weighted average price is higher up on the price than the 10 exponential. That typically doesn't happen. The 10 exponential, a more responsive indicator than the volume weighted average price. So when you see it like that, usually it's not something that we see often. So be on the lookout. VWAP at 231, the 10 EMA on the 5 at 220. Those are the support levels off which I would look to pick this up. Doesn't mean you have to. All right, now let's move back into my ad here on SGD. We get the print. Okay, so we got 40, what did we get there? 45s. Now I'm waiting at 48s. Can SGD find another look to the high side over here? I'm looking to take some out in front of the $1/2, knowing full well the $1/2 acts as a psychological area of resistance. So let's go ahead and set up a little bit north of said $1/2 here. We'll put some at 52s and see if we can wet the beak in and around there. It probably behooves me to work into REPL because this one has been, where is my Repel trade? Okay, it's not that one. Is it this one? No, not that one either. VCIG maybe? I don't know. Maybe we'll just put it up over here. So let's show everybody what the price action on a Repel looks like. It's up, as I mentioned, 23 some odd %, but it doesn't have too much in the way of crazy volume. It's a 1 penny spread on the day. It's, as I mentioned, almost $4. It's done about 12.8 million shares, so a little bit less than 13 million shares on the day. And here it goes again. So here's 94s. We just wicked into 99s. So that is the prior candle, not the current candle on the 5. The prior candle made the high of the day. In addition to making to the high of the day, the prior candle that closed at 11:15 held the 10 EMA like a dang glove. So this one's been obviously respectful of the 10 EMA on the 5. We'll have to keep tabs on that and see whether we can weasel in to a pullback into the 10 EMA. But as I see it, SGD popping up again, taking out my order at 49. Now I'm waiting at 52s. Let's see we get the 52 order, Ob. So we scalp out a little bit after the ad. Let's set up a little bit higher now. We're going to wait at 54s here on SGD, looking for continuation into that high. That high of the day happens to be $1.63. Let's keep an eye out on that. Aura Alpha saying LIDAR, LIDR, one that we had eyes on last week. Let's see if this bad boy is still going. I mean, it's up 4%, 3.94, but, you know, this is not what I'm looking for when I'm looking for a small cap gapper. It's certainly not. So I'm going to say no to LIDAR, but thank you for pointing that out. Here we go again. Let's see now on SGD. We get the print at 55s. Nice. Now I'm not taking anything out until the high 50s. So we've got 2 orders posted here into 59 and into 61. SGD's got the goods. Just make sure you're trading it carefully. 55 still showing up here on the ask. Now it's 56. Let's keep watching this one. See if we can get something a little bit higher here on SGD. Happy with the ad, but we're not in the clear yet. We're not even that far away from the ad. We're only about like 10 pennies. No, we're like 15 pennies away. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Let's zip back to HWH because this one is pulling back, losing the $0.50. But as I mentioned, the volume weighted average price here in the low 30s, 234 now, VWAP showing itself on HWH. So we definitely have a lower low and a lower high on this current 5-minute candle. So a bit of a pullback here, but we're still quite close to day's high. Let's see if we do find support at these local levels. Oh, baby, I just saw SGD pop up and take out all my orders. Boom into SGD to the high side. This made a new high day into 163. We took it out at 61. We still got shares on this one. Let's set up here now in the mid 60s. I'm going to wait at 65 on SGD. Let's see what we can get. It's a 63 high day. We're going to pack our patience and see if we can get a little bit more on this one.
You can pass it.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Thank you for talking while I was trying to figure some stuff out. Still experiencing a little bit of technical issues, but guess what? Market's still open. Price action is still happening. Yeah. So I will observe, and we can talk about some stocks. So let me know, what do you guys want to talk about? We can go through them. We can chart. We can maybe do some technical analysis, which is it's funny. Some people call it market astrology. Sometimes there's some interesting videos on technical analysis and stuff, and the fun part of it is that there's definitely statistical significance to some type of technical analysis for sure. Yeah. And it's been proven over time. You can see you'll see it over and over again, because there's always that break between people are like, oh, technical analysis means nothing, it's all about fundamentals, and then there are people who trade off of technicals that are like, oh, fundamentals mean nothing, technicals are everything. I lean a little bit more towards price action is king.
My man.
Which right away goes to say that, yeah, sure, a lot of things are priced in, a lot of fundamentals, regardless of the change that happens fundamentally. Sure, some of the strongest trades you want to confluence with fundamentals, right?
Absolutely.
So how I deal with that sometimes is like, all right, if I'm trading just based off of technicals, it might not be as strong of a trade. 100%. But if I can add a fundamental catalyst onto the technicals, automatically it's a higher grade trade, right? Situational change. Say that, okay, they had strong earnings, they reported really well, and the technical breakout is happening. Maybe we're pushing all-time highs. That gives me stronger confluence to take the trade, right? So it's all a little bit of both. And what's up, Neil? Okay, cool. Yeah.
All right. Sure. So we're going to throw to Adara while Neil helps out.
I just want to mention here, keep an eye on maybe NU or the market in general. I'm seeing apparently Estado, which as far as I can tell is a Brazilian newspaper or news outlet. Estado reporting that Brazil is working on negotiating a general 50% tariff with the U.S. That is the rate in the tariff letter that Donald Trump posted on Truth Social. It is a lot higher, though, than the 10% reciprocal tariff initially given to Brazil on Liberation Day. So either way, we're seeing some reports that apparently Brazil is interested in negotiating a 50% tariff with the U.S. Apparently, they're also not asking for sector-specific tariff exemptions. So interesting stuff. No tariff exemptions on watch here for Brazil reportedly, but they're looking for that general 50% tariff. Back to you.
Thanks you for that, Adara. All right, here comes HWH again. Shout out to Bovin. Yes, Bovin telling me HWH held 244, but here we go again. Look, it's a 275 high. I perceive us to be forming bull flag number one, 275 high, obviously, so we know how the bull flag works, right? We got a big pull up, that's the big parabolic move up, and then we have sideways price action, generally within a range. Not a hard and fast rule, and the ranges look different. Sometimes they compress, sometimes they're linear. So 275, here we go. Let me flip to the 5-second chart so we can kind of get our bearing straight over here. Here we go. So let's add in the share size that we're gonna take and be on the lookout for here. Now we have a triple top on the consolidation part of the bull flag here at around 2 mid to low 70s. So, as we've always talked about, no two bull flags are created equal in the sense that, some of them have longer areas of consolidation, some of them have shorter ones. They can be 15 5-minute bars, or they can be 3. They just do not look alike. Here we go. Let's see if we can get something on the lower end of the range over here. So we're going to punch. Oops. It didn't punch. Okay, that's fine. So we missed it. All right, let's see if we can get a little bit lower. There we go. We'll take it right there. What do we get? We got 58s right into the mid 60s we go. Let's see if we can post up a little bit higher here on the, they definitely need hotkeys on this. Certainly need hotkeys. The seller at 60 now, big seller at 60 setting up here. So be on the lookout for that. I'm just looking for the pattern or the trend, what I'm trying to say here ineloquently. On the 5-second chart, there was certainly a buyer of note at 45s. So between 40 to 45, if we lose that level, that could spell trouble for the longs over here. So let's keep an eye here on 245 to 240. Now, I should let you know that VWAPs are around 238. So if you're going to give your stop into that 240 area, you probably should take into account how close VWAP is to that area of actual price action support. So be on the lookout for that. So I'm long 58s. We're taking like half the shares we took last time so that we don't lose too much if this one does turn south. But there it goes again. Oh my God. So we take out the levels. Here we go again. We're taking out all the levels again. Oh my goodness. There's the high of the day break. Boom. Freaking boom. There it is. We'll add again into this one. Let's see if we can set up a little bit more. Boom. Again into the mid 80s. Can we get 90s? Let's post. There we go. We get the top of the 90 there, Ope. So really happy with that add on HWH into the high of the day. It's a 291 high. Here comes $3. It's up over about 100%, 97 and change. Trade it carefully. They're around for a good time, not a long time. Crypto's next.
Just keep an eye here on some crypto names. We're going to start with stable coins, going over some catalysts to the market cap chart for USDC. Very interesting chart. I bring this up because we had a pretty bullish note here on stablecoins from BlackRock saying that new U.S. legislation, especially the Genius Act, which we know was signed a couple weeks ago, is going to be basically cementing the role of stablecoins in global finance and reinforcing Bitcoin as a long-term case. So basically, long story short, BlackRock arguing that stablecoin legislation actually ends up being positive for Bitcoin as well, just in general as part of the whole crypto space. Let's take a look here at Solana USD. This is a 30-minute chart. We'll switch to the daily. Another interesting catalyst coming through, kind of meme coin related. Apparently one of the co-founders of Solana, Anatoly Yakovenko, has apparently stirred some crypto debate by saying that NFT and meme coins are digital slop with no intrinsic value. Now this is controversial because apparently a lot of these meme coins are actually being housed on the Solana blockchain. So that's apparently become one of the leading networks for NFT activity and launches of new meme coins. So interesting stuff here. Solana on the daily chart, definitely making some higher lows, but looking like we're struggling a little bit here to get decisively above that 206 level. That was also some previous resistance going back to February. Now, we'd be remiss if we didn't discuss Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still in this beautiful bull flag on the daily chart. Definitely up quite nicely from our most recent form of, I guess, this low here around 114. Currently around that 117.5 area. Let's see if we can reclaim 120,000. Take a look at Ethereum quickly as well before we send you back to the guys. Ethereum, super strong here, looking very similar to Bitcoin. This bull flag, though, with a much longer pull, and unlike Bitcoin, we're not necessarily at all at all-time highs. So Ethereum could have a little bit farther to go to the upside, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Ope, anything there?
Yeah, so I guess I got some charts working, but we were talking about we can continue that conversation about fundamentals versus technicals, and I want you guys to chime in as well. Now, I don't know if there's any right or wrong answers. I think that's way above my pay grade. But yeah, I'd like to know, what do you guys mainly focus on? If we can get a poll up in the chat for what do you guys mainly lean on for trading? Fundamentals, technicals, or a little bit of both, right? And if you can go for that.
You know what I look at? Yes. So I just want to build on your point. I kind of look at the technicals as a story that's being told.
Right.
It is literally a story written in code with price. The market likes something, the market's bullish on something in the future. The market is concerned about, you know, a possible change in regulation, everything reflected in the price. Wouldn't it be nice if there was like a charting software that kind of overlaid the story with the price action? So you hover over a day, there's obvious price action movement that day that warrants explanation. You hover over, oh, you know, I don't know, Donald did this that day and it sold off as a result of that. So I always see kind of, it's kind of one hand is the left hand is the technicals and then the right hand is the fundamentals. But having said that, let me also tell you what I also think. Sometimes the technicals are the ones that lead. For example, if we come into a key area of technical support ahead of earnings and you're looking to buy in and around there, well, that level keeps coming in. Well, why does it keep coming in, right? And so it's like, it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of, you know, a story being told by the price with respect to fundamentals, but also the technicals leading in, sometimes leading as well when there are good technical areas. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I think it goes back to the point of confluence, right? If you can stack that confluence and you're like, okay, fundamentals are really good, bullish, right? The question I like to ask is that, is the news, the earnings, or new developments, whatever fundamental change that has happened to the stock, is that going to get bigger players involved, right? Is this gonna cause maybe a rebalancing for funds, maybe firms, whatever it is? Are they going to want to buy or sell due to this changing fundamental? Right? And can we confluence that with a technical push or a break? Here we go. Thank you, Andre, for this. So here is the poll in the chat. Which do you lean on more, technicals, fundamentals, or both? I'm going to put in my vote right now. So there we go. Here it is. So 107 votes, and so far people are saying, I guess technicals winning 46%, fundamentals 12%, and both with 41%. So yeah, a lot of the crowd focusing on technicals and fundamentals. I would say.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in a bit on that, because I think sometimes if you let the fundamentals overshadow things too much, it can kind of distract you from what's happening technically. I remember that's happened to me before in a trade. It was actually Boeing, though not today. You're in a trade, it's going well, you think the technicals are on your side, then you hear something fundamentally that you think changes, so you get out, and then actually it turns out the market didn't really care. So I think sometimes it's worth waiting to see how the market reacts to news, because sometimes it doesn't even particularly care about the catalyst. I also want to talk about Walmart here, because we have a soccer-related catalyst on this one, Sharif. They just signed a multi-year partnership with Major League Soccer and the League's Cup. That is the company's first ever MLS sponsorship. Not huge, but it is worth noting that on a day where the market's relatively weak, Walmart is really strong. Back to you.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Adair. Thank you for chiming in. All right, so back into HWH over here. Where are we in? Oh, 82. Just wet the beak there. Anything below 80 where I see buying, I'm just going to flatten out. I don't want to give back too much over here. So anything dropping below 80, we're going to flatten out. Let's see if we can get some continuity here to the high side. Here's 80. Buyer at 80 stepping in, but it could lose it at any second. It feels like the buyer stepping at 80 is going to get taken out over here. Popping back up into 83s. Let's see if we can work into the high 90s. And there it is. There it is again. Again on HWH. Here we're going to clear 3. Let's take that out up here. Trying to pack my patience. Maybe we can get a little bit higher in the 90s. Let's set up at 95s. Boom! Into 95. Seller at 95 won't print me. It didn't print me. The seller at 95 was too staunchy, couldn't take him out. Let's see if we can take him out on this next attempt. You got to figure we're going to weasel into 3. My statement remains the same. Anything below 80, I flatten out. Now that seller has moved down from 95 into 92. Can we remove him? 93 is now showing up. 94, here we go. 94s again coming back into play over here. So that seller, we're unable to kind of take him out at that level. I'm just going to pack my patience. I'm not going to take it out here. I'm just going to move my stop, into 77. So we'll give this one a little bit of room so that it doesn't spike down, then get me stopped out. 94s, 95s. Here we go. Seller at 95 again. Look at that. Look at how staunchy that seller at 95 was. That was 2 attempts here with a lot of size churning. Let's see if we make another attempt at 95s. I mean, I could have taken it on 94, but, you know, it's just about the good reps, maintaining discipline and insisting on getting your levels. Here we go. 93s. Let's keep watching here. 93s zigging and zagging. Can't shake that seller. Can't shake that seller. Let's pack our patience. Okay, so we're going to have to pack a lot of patience over here because that seller at 95 is a staunchy little bugger. So yeah, we'll just hold on to it and see if we can clear it. If we can clear it, fantastic. If we don't, we'll get stopped out. It's really going to work out that way because I'm not going to flatten out. Now, I want to mention REPL is at VWAP over here. So this could be a good entry into Repel. I haven't had a trade on REPL yet, but here it is, right back in to the volume weighted average price. It's found support at VWAP twice before. Is the third time going to be a charm, or is it when we lose the actual volume weighted average price? So there it is. That white line will always be VWAP on my charts. Be on the lookout here for a hold or a loss of that level. And there it is. Oh, we take it out. 95 seller, run for your life, bro. I tried to tell you. Now, what's the high of the day right now? Show yourself high of the day. It is 316. Shout out to Austin, Brother Bible, whichever one you want to go down that road. So we'll keep an eye out here on HWH. It's got all the gas right now. This is the best looking one in the market, in my humble submission. It is up 110% and still going. Keep your eye on HWH. You still got the gas. REPL, the one that we were just mentioning, is losing VWAP quite aggressively right now. So I won't be punching into that until and if it gets back above the volume weighted average price. But my eyes, Assassino, are fixated on HWH right now as it's got the right stuff or whatever. Got something there. What do you got?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, no, I'm looking at some of these trends that are happening in the market, man. What a reversion on AMD. Talk about not being there at the right time. And I think AMD, when it comes to the chips, it was doing things that were distinctly different. So let's just go through my chip basket here and look at what AMD was doing relative to some of the other stocks. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to duplicate this so we can have AMD on the side, and then we can go through some of the other chips and look at that comparison, I guess, real time here. So look, NVIDIA. So this is what AMD did in the morning session. And the NASDAQ was, I guess, a little bit more reflective, closer to NVIDIA than anything else. You can see the QQQs right here. It's a little bit of a pop in the morning. We've only been trending down since. So taking a look at NVIDIA, distinctly different was AMD. AMD didn't really catch a turn until about 10:40, 10:45-ish. And then, yeah, it did come back into VWAP. Absolutely beautiful reversion, almost coming in and violating the opening range high on the 3-minute candle as well, 5-minute candles as well, and pulling back into pre-market levels. So that's where a bid was off of the open. The question becomes, does the bid come back in off of that? But distinctly different. This was NVIDIA. Let's take a look at Intel really quickly. Intel, strong downtrend. Sure, we had a little bit of a reversion back towards that VWAP, attempted to hold, and then pushing back down as well. SMH. You can see a little bit of a chop, but around that 1040 mark, that's exactly when AMD starts to turn. That's when SMH loses its VWAP and gets crushed all the way back through the opening range low as well. So SMH, being the semiconductor ETF, definitely something to watch if you're trading a chip name. But when you're seeing this, I was looking at SMH, I was looking at NVIDIA, and that's why I was attempting a few shorts a little bit on the front side of the move. But yeah, NVIDIA not really giving us the continuation that it's been giving us almost every day, printing fresh highs. TSM as well.
This morning too. I woke up, Squawk Box is showing the price. I'm like, this thing's knocking on the door of 180, bro.
Yeah,
why is it even gapping up $2?
I think that 180 was more than within range if you were looking for that in the morning. You can see TSM very similar to that of SMH, and now TSM definitely a heavier constituent of SMH as well. SMCI, we saw how strong that was yesterday. Take a look at yesterday's price action. Pretty much opening near the day low and closing at the day high. Looking for continuation today? Sure, it gives it to you for a little bit, but this one may be looking a little bit more similar to that of AMD. right there. That same candle, 1042. We're seeing a confluence within the sector where a lot of the stocks started to break the bid around 1042, and that was the same time to get in on AMD for the reversion. That reversion is coming in absolutely beautifully. There is one more stock. I guess we can take a look at Micron as well, and oh boy, that reversion coming in right there. Same candle, 1042. So I asked myself, was it just sellers just switched across the whole sector, being like, all right, well, buyers are done, we're going to start pounding it in? I have no idea, but the turn definitely did happen in synchronicity at 1042. So absolutely crazy. AMD definitely distinctly different than the rest of them on the day. So. Okay, so we have about 550 votes
What
here,
are people
Sharif.
saying, Noel?
So I guess it's relatively similar to what we were seeing before, but both is closer to 50%. That's coming in at 47%. Only 10% of people trading on fundamentals.
That makes sense, though, for a trading show, right? Like, I don't expect too many people to want to base everything on fundamentals and watch a day trading show, so it kind of jives. You know, I don't mind fundamentals, don't get me wrong.
The fractal nature of price action. We hear Michael Noss talk about this all the time, right? So my argument a lot of the time is, what about the fractal nature of price action, right? You can have trend breaks on the minute chart, on the second chart, on the weekly chart, on the monthly chart, and they all are relatively the same. So I really am a strong believer of the fractal nature of price action, just because that's what the market has shown me. And you can't really deny what Mother Market tells you. You got to respect her, otherwise she's going to put you in your place. You know what I mean?
Mother Market. I love that you always say that. You haven't said that in a hot minute.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah, I remember that one, Mother Market.
You got to stay respectful of Mother Market and really kind of make sure you're listening to what she's talking about, right? Fair. And at the end of the day, you can be so. You can be wrong you can be right about the fundamentals, but wrong on the trade more often than not, until it actually starts working. You hear that happen all the time. You'd be like, oh, they had great earnings. I hear people say this all the time. They had great earnings. They beat so much. Why is it selling off? Guess what? It doesn't matter. Market doesn't care. No. Mother Market don't care. No. If there's, it's like, I say it simply, I'd be like, why is it selling off? Well, because there's more sellers than buyers.
Exactly. Right? I mean, trying to figure that one out.
Did you listen?
You can go crazy. Right? Trying to actually find the logical reason. You just have to accept what it is and trade it.
Sorry, what's that saying that they say? You know, it's the market will be irrational
longer than you can stay solvent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like that's a big part of it as well, and a lot of people get chopped up getting strong biases on strong fundamentals, but then they don't really follow the price action or what the market is actually telling them, what the chart and the price action is actually telling them. So we can rant on this for hours and hours. I've had conversations with friends over and over again, and you know, it's an interesting topic for sure.
Breaking news. Neil putting it in the chat. How do you say this guy, Chalamet? How do you say his last name, Neil? Chalamet? All right. Timothy Chalamet named Lucid's brand ambassador.
Oh boy.
Neil says they're taking a page from Sydney Sweeney's playbook. How many other companies have to start doing this? I'm very, very pro Sydney Sweeney being the poster girl for American Eagle. Is it American Eagle?
I don't know.
It was somebody there.
Yeah. Crocs.
Crocs.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was somebody else.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I know maybe American Eagle as well, but I know she also is, she does Crocs too. So that's of interest. Yeah, last year she's done Crocs. Yeah, Timothy Chalamet, that one's interesting for sure. I did want to mention as well, on a market note, that the U.S. and China are finishing their second day of trade discussions in Stockholm. So keep an eye. Sometimes after these end, we can get more comments coming through. Yeah, again, just keep an eye here. U.S. and China, second day of trade discussions in Stockholm now over. Keep an eye out in case there's any comments made by any of the parties involved, because sometimes that does happen. Yeah, I mean, that still processing the Lucid Timothy Chalamet partnership, I must say. Back to you.
Anyway, Sydney Sweeney over here. This is the one that got my attention last week. So, and you're seeing this a lot with a lot more of these companies. They are trying to get, the poster boys or poster girls for their companies, kind of move the needle. Obviously, there's going to be a huge social media push with respect to this. So, I think a lot of people would rather see her in clothes than in little Crocs there. But that's just my opinion. Oh, anything you got over there?
Nothing really. Again, we're talking about trends. Google, another one that's been trending nicely here, and Neil pointed this one out to me a little bit earlier. A little bit of a flag pattern happening above prior days' end-of-day range levels. You can see here a strong selling coming in on Google. We see that it's been kind of chopping sideways since earnings, right? Earnings was last Wednesday evening. We got a nice little flush off of the open coming in on earnings day one. So you know what? Let me throw up an anchored on this one here and see where we are sitting relative to that anchored VWAP. So let's see right here. So on day one, we reverted down into anchored VWAP. We were a little bit, I guess, attempting to push this after hours earnings reaction high, which came in just shy of 198. Bit of a false break of that pre-market high, and we got a nice little flush and quadunk. Dead cat bounce since then. A little bit of a flush prior day, Monday. You can see that right here. I was trying to take the reversion right here back in, and yeah, I think I did participate. Yeah, I was here. I think I was here on the show. Yeah, I was here on the show. And we took a little bit of a reversion back into that VWAP there, and today we're breaking back above prior days again range that I was talking about, 192. So a nice little push, consolidation, breaking prior days high now as it accelerates. Oh boy, look at that volume candle that just came in on that last 3-minute candle. Hey. Oh boy, indeed, we're almost
completely bucking the trend.
Yeah, of course. Nothing else is really looking like this. Let's take a look at the spider here, and the spider is definitely falling down the spout today as a nice little turn, failure to follow through above prior day's highs, right off of the open, a little bit of consolidation from the day before, but yeah, fresh week lows happening as of right now, with a day low coming in at 634.69, and the same thing with I guess we can go. I like to look at the Qs, the TQs as well, but let's take a quick look at these right here, and TQs again pouring to the downside. We attempt to push right off of the open, didn't really come in, but I'm looking for a potential break of this trend and waiting for maybe buyers to step right back in. So let's see, a little bit of a downtrend here as well. So we'll see whether or not the market does catch a bid, Sharif, but sellers are definitely in charge on the day today.
Okay, I worked back into SGD. Are we good, Sassino? Everything's fine? Oh, we're going to Adara.
I want to let you guys know, it looks like we might be getting a press conference on these U.S.-China talks. Right now, it's just people sitting in a very sterile-looking room. No one's here yet. There's a lot of static. But if there is any updates, I'll let you know. We're also getting commentary coming from China's top trade negotiator, Li, FXI popping a little bit here. He's saying that the two sides had candid, in-depth, and constructive discussions. Apparently, they also realized the importance of maintaining healthy, stable relationships. And they also reviewed the implementation of the Geneva Convention. It is unclear if we're going to get a third day of talks. If I do hear anything else, I'll let you know. But just be aware, it seems like, at least based on this stream, there will be some kind of press conference here. If there's any updates, I'll let you know. FXI reacting well to this commentary. Back to you.
I worked back into SGD here as it got into the volume weighted average price. But what I'm starting to notice with basically every single small cap gapper on my side chart is they're all losing VWAP. None of them are holding, despite the strong price action to start the day. And let me just make my case to you. STAI lost VWAP. SGD is the only one that's holding VWAP, hence why I'm in. Repel lost VWAP. HWH lost VWAP. FMST lost VWAP. It's only NEG, man. And NEG is like a $46, $45 stock. I don't want to trade this. It's not even a small cap gapper. And it's insanely spready. So I'm going to stay away from that one, but I just put it on there because it's got strong price action. But these small cap gappers are losing the bid. STAI is trying to work its way back above VWAP. You can see that top left of your screen over here. This one had a good move into the aftermarket. Yesterday, 405. Maybe it was earnings, maybe it wasn't. I don't really care. What I'm looking for is the price action. And this one is the price action displeases me at the moment because it's below VWAP. In fact, it's using VWAP, what I perceive as an area of resistance, much in the same way that it does when it's above it as support. So let's keep an eye out on these small cap gappers because they're all kind of singing here with the same tune, which is the loss of VWAP tune. So yeah, that's the situation. So SGD, the only one that I perceive kind of to be at an area where I can pick it up and give it another attempt, maybe at like the mid 40s. If we get really, really strong, then maybe the 50s. Talk about PayPal, dude. I don't talk about large caps. Sorry, DJ Trader. I'll do that on the news, but I'm not going to be talking about it as my trade. DJ Trader, you just said price action. Price action, price action. Yeah, sorry, man. It's really what it matters. When you're trading these things intraday, it really is the price action. But you brought up a good point, Ob. I mean, you were telling me the other day, you're like, look, I like to look at the headline news. That way I can kind of get the feeling of whether or not this could have a third leg, a fourth leg, a fifth leg, not just a one or two, and then we're done. So you also kind of take technicals and pair it a little bit with the fundamentals to see if you can get something, a stronger move out of it.
Yeah,
is that a fair statement?
For sure. I think, like I said before, it's when you can pair a strong technical catalyst with a strong fundamental catalyst, the trade automatically becomes so much better.
Feels that
so
way, right?
If you like to grade your trades from C, B, A, and then size relatively to those, we were talking a little bit about that yesterday.
Right.
Say, for example, say a technical trade for me is a B minus, right?
Okay.
A B minus breakout. Right? I'm like, all right, we're breaking maybe multi-month highs, and because it's a higher time frame, I like it for the technical push.
Okay.
And there's a lot of reasoning as well. Think about it. If it has a short flow,
right?
If it has a little bit of a short flow, or you know that with relative action that maybe sellers have been getting paid, right? And it breaks that trend or breaks that high, and it's a multi-month trend or a multi-month high. There's probably people who are covering that trade.
That makes absolute sense.
So technically, it's like, okay, like you said, it tells you a story. The chart and the price action, the technicals tells you a story, and you can be like, okay, sellers have been in charge, buyers have been in charge. What happens when their stops get hit?
Exactly.
Right? They add pressure to the market, whether it's buying or selling pressure. And if you see that happening, that's confirmation.
I want to ask you something else just before we go to Dare for happening now. So, or whatever we're going for. The experience comes into play here, though. Let's just take biotech stocks, for example. A lot of these biotechs, they make aggressive moves based on phase 1 trials. But we know phase 1 trials, you know, they're good to an extent. An experienced possible trader who trades a lot of these biotechs might know that a phase 2 trial worth a lot more than a phase 1 trial. Yeah. So it's like assessing the news from a fundamental perspective, that just comes with, I guess, experience and time, and maybe obviously specialized knowledge within that sector.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You know
I think here's something I do want to add.
Go.
One of my favorite traders. His name is, I'm sure you guys have heard. Let me know in the chat if you guys have heard of him.
Yeah.
Stephen Dux.
Okay.
So he trades. He's goated in the trading community for sure. But he has a strong opinion on biotechs, because he said I've heard him say before. Now, don't quote me. I'm paraphrasing.
Sure.
Saying biotechs kind of do their own thing. Maybe they move a little bit more on fundamentals than they do technicals. He does not touch them at all. Now, this guy has made hundreds of millions of dollars.
I believe that.
You know what I mean? Now, when a player like that is saying that, when he trades his playbook, he doesn't even touch those stocks because they're so unpredictable.
Crazy, eh?
Then I'm like, all right, well then.
What the hell am I touching it for?
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm like, if he thinks that's a really hard game, it's like, I'm sure there are players out there who excel at trading biotechs as well, right? That's
their niche. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But that's kind of my thing. So I think there are certain sectors, like you said, which may lean a little bit heavier on fundamentals, and using those phase 2, 3, and if you understand how some of the drug trials go and what it means in terms of the potential for that drug to actually move on to FDA approval, then
Make
you can
money,
kind of build into that.
Absolutely,
Right?
absolutely.
And that has maybe a little bit more to do with fundamentals than it does technicals.
Just before we go to Dara, SGD held VWAP. There it is, into that 155 again. We'll take it out really at that 155 area. Shout out to Nimrod. He's in it. He's throwing down 30 shekels in the chat. Appreciate you, Nimrod. Hope to see you soon. Go ahead, Adara.
Just be aware, guys, this market bouncing really nicely off lows. Unclear if there's a specific catalyst, but it is worth noting that we did have, again, more commentary coming from lead China trade negotiator Lee. He said, now it's about 5 minutes ago, but he said that both countries, so the U.S. and China, will continue their efforts to extend suspension of reciprocal tariffs and maintain Chinese countermeasures. So looks like here that they're going to be suspending reciprocal tariffs. Unclear how that's going to work with this potential maintenance of Chinese countermeasures. We're going to have to wait and see. But either way, again, we're supposed to be having a press conference. It has not yet started. Now they actually cut the feed. So as I get more details, I will let you know. But yeah, lots of volatility and excitement here in this market. Bouncing off lows, the reversion of the reversion, as Obi might say. Back to you.
7%. Now it's down 7%.
That was pretty funny.
What the hell?
Did you see what Fabian put down there? Oh, boy.
Breaking news. Biotechs kind of do their own thing. Obi. You're hilarious.
Thank
Fabian,
you,
bro. We got to take that tool away from Fabian. He's killing it with
I
that.
love that. I love that.
Shout out to Fabian.
Yeah, I want to know. Do you guys trade? Do you guys trade a lot of biotechs? I know that I've been involved in biotechs in the personal account before.
Yep.
And I think it was. I actually got, margin called on one as well. If you remember Sava.
Oh, I remember Cassava Sciences.
Cassava Sciences, of course. Another very strong biotech that happened, and a squeezer as well, right? People probably shorting based off of technicals, and then just getting trapped and squeezed out as well.
SRPT.
Yeah.
Sarepta Therapeutics, Sarepta, thank you, Ob. Yeah, that one, Zig and Zag was up like 40% this morning when I saw it. But yeah, it pulled back last week, a lot of or the week before, a lot of downgrades. Moderna is the only one that strikes me as the one that I really standout trade, because that was during the pandemic. It was like $37 before it made its way to 400 or wherever it double topped at. Joseph was involved in that too. That was, I just remember thinking, okay, it's COVID. We're all at home. How are we going to get out of home? We need it. Well, yeah, at the time, I don't know the information that I know now. So I was like, yeah, vaccine. Right. So I was looking for all these vaccine names. There were so many, right? That were all trying to kind of get there. Remember, NVAX had its play as well. AstraZeneca was running with that viral vector, obviously Pfizer. But Pfizer just had too much of a pipeline just to be one dominant, but it kind of feels that way because I haven't been doing anything either. All right, Nick Dubb, good to see you again, man. It's been a minute since I've seen your name in the chat. Hope you are well. Mind touching on ABEO? I hope it's a small cap gapper. Because otherwise,
people are talking in the chat about the biotechs. I wanna reiterate, not large cap biotech. I'm talking about small, mid-cap biotech.
And somebody in the chat established. They're established.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I saw Adair in the chat being like, Lilly, right? Yeah, for sure. You have Pfizer. As well, right? Strong biotechs, sure. They definitely are a little bit different, but the small caps, small to mid caps, absolutely crazy. And someone pointed out in the chat, but biotechs kind of do their own thing. We saw that some of them are trying to become crypto reserves.
I know.
You know what I mean? That literally confirms the statement. Biotechs kind of do their own thing.
No, but think about
you know what I mean?
Think about the differentiation you just made. You made a very important differentiation. The smaller cap biotechs are basically targets for buyouts, for acquisitions by larger caps. So if you have a successful phase 2 trial, maybe even phase 3, you're a target for an acquisition by a bigger name, which obviously needs some premium in order to move the needle. So if you're trading at 15, maybe the deal strikes at 20. Otherwise, how do you get all shareholder approval? How do you get management to be on board and the bigger shareholders? So there usually is a premium there, and that's an arbitrage play in and of itself, aside from just the drug doing well and being profitable and revenue worthy. All right, so let's look over here at Nick Dubb. He was talking about ABEO, therapeutics name. Perfect call out there. $350 million market cap, so can definitely qualify as, similar to what we're talking about there. So let's start out with the daily chart on this. I have the 5-minute. Let me just start out with the daily. So this is not a bad daily as of late, you know, just from the last 3 years. This goes back to March 2022, kind of a bit of a range there with $3 to the bottom and essentially more or less about 7.5 to the top. Let's flip to the weekly, get a better look. What did this one do during the pandemic? Yeah, it's got the double top that we saw with the, oh, that's not even the pandemic, dude. That's 2018. So probably had some catalyst there. Yeah, it's been down and to the right since then, but when you look locally, there's certainly a level you can base it on. The highs there are around 9 and change, with the lows being about 3, 2.5. So intraday, let's just flip. It's got a bull flag set up. Buyer at 675. You can clearly see that with a seller at 685. I'd play this as a range until you get a breakout or a breakdown. That's just my look on ABO. Very perfunctory look. We're going to happening now with Adair, and then Neil's got his lesson of the day.
Here's the market, certainly trying to bounce here. This is the S&P 500. We just put in our first 15-minute candle of the day that is green. Let's see if we can hold it. The NASDAQ here, yeah, pretty similar. Now trying to put in our second green 15-minute candle of the day. Why the bounce? We'll get to that in a second. I do want to mention here we do have breaking news on MindMed, MNMD. Apparently circulating here that the Massachusetts Psychiatric Society actually calling on lawmakers to legalize psilocybin. They are endorsing psilocybin, so good look here for some of these mushroom-related plays. Now, the positive catalyst here for the market and also FXI specifically, though it's dropping a bit here, does come after we had the conclusion of the second day of trade talks between China and the U.S. We do have China's chief trade negotiator, Li, saying that China and the U.S. have agreed to extend their 90-day tariff truce. They're going to keep higher rates from being imposed for the meantime. So it seems like definitely trying a diplomacy here between the U.S. and China. Good look for the FXI, at least temporarily, and certainly good look for this market as well. I want to mention a lot of these earning plays still really weak. BA bouncing off lows, but think of new names like PYPL pushing into low of day, UPS near low of day. So any attempts here for these earnings names to push higher, they generally have been a lot weaker. I want to mention as well, this just came through my radar. Keep an eye on Elf, Ulta Beauty, any of these beauty plays. L'Oreal just reported earnings. Back to you. Or Neil.
Is it though? I've snuck in. No, thank you, Adair. And the lesson of the day is brought to you by a conversation that the boys were having about it doesn't matter. Just look at the price action. It does, like, levels don't make a difference if there's no buyers there. That being said, if you're waiting for confirmation at a big level and it bounces, well, how are you supposed to get in? Like, oh, you're going to miss the trade. Well, there's another way to look at it. If you have a market-wide reversal like we did where everything was falling, then you can eyeball, say, the Qs, but know where you're going to go elsewhere to have a trade that doesn't require you to catch the low. All you need is confirmation that a level is going to hold. Now, I always say this, when in doubt, zoom out. The market starts doing something distinct at the open, failed a breakout. On a 60-minute chart, just so you guys, it's condensed so you can see it, the overnight low, including yesterday's, resistance area. It was also the overnight high from the previous day. So previous day's overnight high, overnight lows, and generally where we closed. We bounced off that to the candle wick. Now, once you see that holding, your question becomes, where am I going? Now, you're going to go to something relatively strong, hopefully, and you don't have to have that bottom. Now, obviously, two names, and the two biggest chip names in terms of movement yesterday were SMCI and AMD. So two of the stronger names this morning were SMCI and AMD. So what are the two things I went to? Let's go with I would start with the bad first instead of the one that worked. Well, I observed the futures trying to make that bottom. Took a shot on SMCI. It didn't work as the market was trying to bounce off that low. Now, could I have gotten back in? Sure. But what happened is I went to both those names. Whoops, I just went NVIDIA instead of AMD. I went into both those names the first time. AMD bounced a little bit and then failed. SMCI didn't. So when we bounced again, I just made a determination. Okay, well, I took both of the strong ones at the same time. Ultimately, SMCI did work. But my decision was they both